Well, actually, I don't because I slather it in dressing. But um, all right. So last week we had Judith, the pilot, Tacitus, the captain, and the Price, all decide to go look at the Basilisk, which is the thing floating through space. It's the old Mandate ship, and you guys have landed on the ship. You managed to find it after a little bit of searching, a few dings from some asteroids here and there. You're on the ship. You got there, and the AI said that it detected four life forms. You astutely noticed that there were only three of you, so you're not really sure what the fourth one is. We're going to open up, and the camera is going to be centered behind a pair of people walking in vac suits. And it comes around in front of you, and we see Judith and Tacitus wandering through a huge open hall of this ship. They're off sort of to one side of it. The hall itself is probably it's like a roadway, so like a sort of a thoroughfare, maybe 2 lanes wide. So it's actually you could drive cars on it if you wanted. And it's all sort of an eerie red glow from emergency lights. In front of them on the wall, there's some white text that's been yellowed by the light and time, and it reads bridge. And there's a line that extends out from it along the wall down a hall. Another sign is greenish sort of text, and it says medical, and there's another line that leads down another hall. The camera swings around and sort of gets both of them in frame, and we hear Price's voice come over the comm, and he says, "Where are you headed? I'll pull up some maps." What do you guys want to do?
I'm thinking medical. If this ship suffered some sort of disease, there might be records in there of what it was.
Touche. I'm down with that.
All right. So, can you make a navigation check for me, Price, against your intelligence? Because so as you're doing this, Clippy is helping you. Clippy, by the way, is the AI that was maliciously installed, let's say, by Peanuts, the Italian gentleman who you work for. So you're able to find the maps, but you can't make sense of them, and it's you sort of plot out and be like, I think you have to go this way, and you give them some directions, but they're not gonna be very helpful. Can one of the two of the people wandering through the ship also make a navigation check against your wisdom?
Probably should be me. I have the higher. I think of the two of us.
Judith, as our pilot, I think you should verify these locations and directions.
Yes, Captain.
Yeah, so you look at this data that Bryce sends over, and I feel like you just look at it and it's clearly pointing. It's like a map of another planet. He pulled up just totally the wrong information. And you look at the data he sends over, and you can see a path that leads to the medical bays. And you kind of look over at the wall and be like, "We just follow the line." And so you guys head down towards the medical bays. Along the way, there's a lot more of these like sort of rooms that are sort of cordoned off. There's a few that are the doors are like snap shut, and they have like a seal that's grown around them, like a foam that's coming up through the center. They're kind of like French doors, but they're automatic. Sort of like if you think like the Starship Enterprise, they open up. It's like that, but there's like a foam that's coming out from the seam. A few of them are propped open, and you can see inside their like crew quarters. You can see like a bed. They're smallish. Maybe 20 feet by 20 feet total. So there's not a ton of living space. And you see usually multiple beds per room. Do you guys want to keep going towards the med bay or explore something else along the way?
I think I'd duck into one of the rooms, see if there's anything of note. Maybe like journals, audio logs.
So let's see. I think this is going to be a perception test. I don't know. There's no search skill, right? I don't see one.
There's not.
Yeah, so I'd say it's perception, perception, wisdom, just to like know where to look. Yeah, so you find this. It's not an audio log, but it's like a picture of a person. He's in uniform, and you don't really recognize the uniform, but you see like there's a planet on on like his left shoulder. There's a patch with like a planet on it. Clearly looks like it's work uniform, so it's like coveralls kind of thing. And he's standing there with a couple of his buddies that are all in similar uniform. And on the back, it reads, you know, on the basilisk, or got my billet on the basilisk, 2060 or June 2061, or 2661. There we go. Um, and you know, scattered around that, there's shreds of some fabric that match that uniform. And it's like all torn up and shredded. It's sort of on the ground in front of it. And the frame that it's in is cracked pretty severely. And then Judith, are you doing the same thing? You ducking in a room?
Yeah, I'm ducking in a room.
Okay, do a perception check.
You got it. It was against wisdom?
Yep. Yeah, so I think you probably find something similar. It's just some pictures. Not you probably don't find the fabric or anything, but you just find some other pictures that are similar.
Okay.
So a little while later, probably. So you have, I believe it's 4 hours of air in a vac suit. Is that right? I know it's in the book.
I believe it's supposed to be like 4 hours. I can look that up.
Yeah. If you look that up, you've probably been walking around now for about an hour. So you're short 1 hour on your vac suits. So towards the end of that hour, you get to the med bay. The readout on your vac suits the whole time has been reading, you know, positive atmosphere, and you know there's air. You could cease using them if you wanted to. Yeah. So thanks, Mike. Yeah. So you're at 5 of the 6 hours total. The vac suit is saying there's positive air pressure. It's a positive environment. You could take your vac suits off if you wanted. It doesn't give you any readout as to the status of the existence or non-existence of biological organisms. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Let's see. So yeah, you get to the med bay, and it's a massive room. It's probably, 300 feet by 300 feet. It's like a ward. There's tons of beds. There's a little, like a nurse's station every couple rows of beds, with like, and you can see it's sort of like stuff is strewn about. It's not organized. Things are sort of on the floor and broken, and most of the beds are not made. And there's that same eerie red emergency light glow is over the whole room. In some of the beds, you see that there's like a faint form of some kind. It's like it doesn't look like a body, but it looks like there's like a bump in the bed.
Are there any computer terminals around here?
Yeah, the nurses' stations all have computer terminals.
I'm gonna go to one and see if it's on.
Okay, yeah, you walk up it doesn't look like it's on. I mean, like, there's computer terminal, you could probably turn it on, but these things are all, you know, they've been off probably for hundreds of years.
I'm gonna try to turn it on.
Yeah, can you make a computers test? Against your intelligence. Yeah, so you kick it on, and it comes into like a normal operating system mode, and it just says username : it goes through like BIOS boot. It's just username : it says password : it says can you make a luck check? It doesn't actually say can you make a luck check. I need you to make a luck check. Yeah, so it logs right the hell in. It pops up with like welcome to MedOS version 1.3.7, and it gives you like a listing. It says patient listing and lookup record, or let's see, what else would it say? Yeah, it's like lookup records, admit a patient, system configuration, access logs, and logs.
Let's go to the patient section.
Yeah, and so you click on it and it comes up, and it's sort of like, um, it's like this. It's a nice looking hollow terminal. Like the screen is in air, right? It's not actually on like a computer screen. It's just sort of like projected into the air, but it's like a classic like 80s style menu interface. So it's all text. It's like green and glowing. And you see just a list of names just start to print out, and then the screen will like page up and print out again. And there's just a list of names, what they were admitted for, when they were admitted. Some of them have a date of death or time of death. Some of them have, released and, what their status is. And there's probably a few thousand names in this list.
Can I sort by latest patient? Or I guess date closest to today.
Yeah, so you sort the like admitting date or something?
Yes.
Yeah, so you sort by admitting date. You click the column twice or something, and it sorts by most recently admitted, and it's in 2661 in late June, like maybe June 27th or something.
What is the record of that patient? Alive, dead?
Um, it was a man. He was admitted for severe lacerations, um, and he died. And you see that the time of death was about 30 minutes or so after his time of admitting.
Judith, what do you make of this?
Uh, um, eh, I'm not entirely sure. I'm too
I
distracted
think
by
as
the
Judith is
lump.
walking over, you're probably looking at some of the other readouts, and there have been a lot of admittings or admissions for lacerations.
Is there any admissions for sickness? Like not a physical injury?
Yeah, I mean, you scroll through the list for a while, and the last time someone was admitted for sickness was about 3 months prior. And they were admitted for a fever and sort of like flu-like symptoms.
What was the name of that crew member?
Um, their name was, I need to open up my fantasy name generator.
It's a very
That's
long name.
Yeah, I know, right? I always forget to open it, and then you ask me what the name was, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't have it open. Their name was Alexia Hout. Is they were a military. There's a rank before it's PFC. So PFC.
Does this terminal have information what her living quarters were?
It doesn't have it in this screen. It might be somewhere else. This is like sort of like a summary record. I don't know if you've ever used an EHR, probably not. But there's like a screen that'll have like a record of recent admissions, that sort of thing, and then there's usually like a more detailed view that you can get to through some other part of the system.
Has Judith walked over?
Judith is, yeah, she's reading this with you at this point. We'll figure out what you did in the meantime before you walked over in a moment, Judith.
Okay.
What do you think, Judith? There's a lot of admissions here for lacerations, which implies to me there's some sort of violent creature.
Potentially. Or maybe a violent psychopath with scalpels or something.
Are you there, Tim? You might be muted.
I am muted, sorry. There's potential violent monster, or maybe violent psychopath with scalpels or something, going nuts. I'm not sure yet. I'm still kind of distracted by the giant little lump thingy over there on the bed.
Yeah, so I think that you probably got called over right as you were about to like look at it. Was that what your plan was?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're probably walking over to look at it and like poking your head around, looking to see if there's anybody else there. You can see anything, and you're just about to pull back the sheet, and the camera's like really focused on you, and we see, it's looking at you. The sheet's sort of below you in frame, and in the back you can see Tassus like dicking around on the terminal, and you're just about to pull the sheet back, and like the music's getting really tense, and then Tassus says, "Hey Judith, come look at this," and you like step back and walk over. Um, and now the camera's sort of fixed on you as you're like, I don't really know what this is, and I'm kind of like worried about it. Do you want to go back and look?
Yes, I want to go back and look.
Yeah, so again, the music is sort of like following you, and it's, cut in real close, sort of not on your face, it's on like your profile, and it's following you as you walk over. And you get to the bed that you're walking to. It's maybe like 4 or 5 beds in, and the camera is still really tight on your face. You can see like there's, in the vac suit, you can see like there's sweat because you're warm, and you're reaching out again. And in the back, we see like this shadow. Can you make a perception check? And I'm trusting that people won't metagame because I'm trying to set a scene. Yeah, so you see this out of the corner of your eye, this dark shadow move in the far side of the room. And just as your like hand is about to grab the sheet. Yeah.
I immediately step back from where I saw the thing out of the corner of my eye and put my hand on my SMG.
Yeah, so you look over in that direction and the music is, real tense again, and you look over and there's nothing moving, there's nothing there. It's just dull dull red eerie light. And the music sort of drops off and there's just this sort of hum of like a ship in space. And you're breathing.
I'm going to keep one hand on my SMG and then slowly pull back the sheet.
Yeah, so you reach out, and again, the music sort of swells up behind you, and you reach and grab the top of the sheet and start to pull it back. And what you see is a human skeleton that still has strips of cloth and bits of like mummified flesh on it, and it's curled up in the fetal position, and it's a relatively. Do you have tech medical?
-1.
Yeah, so you just it's a skeleton, but you don't like know what kind of skeleton it is or anything, whether it's a male or female. But it's curled up in the fetal position, and it was the sheet was covering its head, but it was like tucked underneath it a little bit, so you had to like pull it out, and the underside of the sheet is like stained brown and red, and yeah, you see this skeleton in front of you. What do you do when you see the skeleton?
I immediately back away and say, Tacitus, we got a skeleton.
Can you make a mental effect save? I think you might scream. Yeah, you don't have to scream if you don't want to. You pass the test. There's a bug in my roll template, but
I'm gonna hold it barely.
Yeah, maybe you like yelp a little bit, just like
a little bit of a yelp kind of deal, but at the same time, it's just like I'm kind of keeping it partially composed. Like, let's be cautious, Tacitus. The skeleton.
Is there anything interesting about the skeleton?
I don't
you're
know.
on the other side of the room, so I mean, you can come take a look at it if you want.
I'm not a doctor. Are you a doctor? You can look at it.
I'll walk over and take a look at the skeleton.
Yeah, can you make a tech medical? That's intelligence. Yeah, so you look at the skeleton, it's very clearly a female skeleton. It is, you can see on some of the bones, there are like scratch marks. There's also on a few of the bones towards her foot, there are clear signs of fracture. You're not, a great doctor, but you're pretty sure this person didn't die of natural causes.
How big are the scratch marks?
So like you look at her, thigh bone, because that's kind of one of the biggest bones, and then like her pelvis as well. And you can tell because it's her pelvis is more flat and splayed out. That's how you know it's a female skeleton. And on the inside of her pelvis, there's this long, maybe inch wide, laceration, like scratch mark. It's obviously exposed some of the marrow, and you can see that it's like rotted out and it's hollow inside now. Her tibia has some like smaller scratch marks. They may be like a quarter inch wide, but there's sort of one real big one on her pelvis.
It doesn't look like she died peacefully.
Well, that's comforting.
Well, could have been a long time ago. Who knows?
I don't know about you, but I don't think 600 years is long enough for this thing to maybe die.
600 years seems long enough for me. And I go back to the computer.
Yeah, so the camera's following you, and you sort of leave Judith in this semi-frightened state, clutching her SMG. The camera follows you back to the computer, and it's what screen did you leave it off on?
The medical record screen.
Yeah, so you're still on the medical record screen, and yeah, what do you want to do?
I want to see if I can find where this PFC's quarters are.
Okay. So how do you plan to go about doing that?
I guess I'll go back to the parent menu, the top menu I was on.
Okay. Yeah, do you see patient records and admission records and system logs, all the other things I told you?
I'll take a look at the system logs.
Yeah, so what it is, it's not intensely detailed, but it says, like when the system went down and the shutdown reason and other like things that were written to the system log. You can see that it's like the EHR has been dumping data to the system log, like, oh, I started up and I'm using this much memory and all that. And you also see that there are a bunch of shutdown events over the last, it's a similar sort of setup. It's that same, big screen that has a bunch of individual lines that you can like drill down into.
Is there an event indicating I logged in?
Yes.
What are the events immediately before I logged in?
So the event that of you logging in is today's date, which I believe is January 10th, 32 something or other.
I think it's January 29th, actually. Yeah, January 29th, 3260.
Yeah, so I need to pull up my other set of notes. Momentito. Notes. That is the wrong notes file. Action turns. That's the one I want. So the thing prior to that is from June 30th, 2661. And it was a... Actually, no, I'm sorry. It wouldn't be June 30th. It would probably be like mid-August. Let's say August 14th, 2662. And it was a shutdown due to emergency, and it's like an automated thing. So it's automated shutdown due to emergency power reservation protocol.
Okay. What were the options on the main menu again?
There's system logs, patient records, and admission records. The first thing you looked at was admission records. You just looked at system logs.
I'll go to patient records.
Okay, and it asks for the identification number of a patient.
Kind of her name, PFC, Alexia.
Yep. You enter that and it just clears the screen and asks for the same thing again. Please give the identification number of the patient you want to look up. That information was not in the admission record thing, by the way.
Okay. Hey, Judith, does that bed with the skeleton have any information on it? Like a clipboard or something?
Are you asking me to touch the skeleton?
I'm asking you to look.
And I just kind of slowly and nervously look at the skeleton.
Yeah, and so what you see in front of you is a skeleton.
I just see a skeleton.
Is there any sort of like, are there dog tags nearby? Is there something on the bed frame that indicates the name of the patient?
I feel like you're looking for the word chart,
Yes.
and I feel like you couldn't find it, and so you were trying to figure it out. So that's why I told you.
And I nervously look around the skeleton for anything
Yeah, you
that.
you see around the neck of the skeleton is a dulled grayish chain. You also see at the end of the bed there's a clipboard.
There's a clipboard and a chain of some kind around the neck of the skeleton.
What does the clipboard say?
Um, um, and I nervously pick up the clipboard and look
Can
at it.
as you go to pick up the clipboard, the camera is sort of behind you again, and it's sort of dull and out of focus, and it keeps like shifting its focus. And we see the same black shadow move again. Can you make another perception check against your intelligence? Actually, I'm sorry, against your wisdom. I think I did wisdom last time, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so this time you get a good look at it, and you see that you actually are looking in the direction that the shadow's moving. And the shadow is quite large. It's probably 10 feet against the back wall, 10 feet by 10 feet or so. And it's sort of amorphous. It's hard to tell what it is because the light's very low. But there's very clearly something moving back there. You might even hear like a scutter or a skitter.
I nervously scream at the top of my lungs. I'm not going to do that because I can't do a girlish scream
That's
well.
fine. That's fine.
And I don't want to blow up people's eardrums.
Appreciate
And
it.
I also shoot my SMG at the mass.
Hang on one second. I'm getting something from work. I might have to do a thing for work in a moment. Depends on if Steve decides to pick up his goddamn phone. Yeah, so you rattle off a shot against the back wall, and you hear ping, 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 ping as the bullets ricochet off the wall and hit some of the beds and so on. Can you make a luck check, and then I need 2 luck checks from you, Tacitus. Okay. Can you roll damage, please, Judith?
I can. Given 8 seconds. 1d8.
And what's your AC?
My AC.
No, not yours. Tacitus, what's your AC?
Mine is 4.
Okay, so I need you to make a attack roll first. I'm changing my mind on this. Make an attack roll against an AC of 4 with an extra penalty of 3.
So I'm making the attack roll?
Yes.
Okay. AC of 4. At penalty of 3, you said?
Yep, so add another 3. So success means that a ricochet is going to hit, or is not going to hit Tacitus. Failure means a ricochet will hit Tacitus.
Input modifier -3.
No, plus 3. Other way around.
If it was plus
you-
3, then that would have been a 21.
Yep, so you missed. So it's backwards from what it usually is, because a success here means you didn't hit him. That's why you're getting the plus 3, not the minus. And so the ricochet pings probably past like Tacitus's ear. However, it does hit the computer terminal and short it out. And so you see, when you logged into the terminal, a bunch of other terminals also popped up at the same time. Now they all went dead. They're all dark.
Could you not do that?
I saw a thing.
I turn around and look and see if I too can see a thing.
You make a perception check. Wisdom. Yeah, you don't see anything.
Picture didn't happen, Judith.
You don't know what you're talking about. We're not alone here. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm here.
So Bryce, you're hearing all of this over comms, by the way. So, what do you feel about this situation right now?
Do you guys need assistance, Car 54?
Uh, I need the biggest gun we can have, and we're gonna nuke this thing into high orbit.
I'm pretty sure I looked at our weapons list. We don't have nuclear weapons on board.
What's the next biggest thing?
I think I have a firecracker.
Can we save the firecracker, please? For a special occasion.
I can't keep scared
I
with
just,
that comment.
I think, just for a moment, I'm gonna do a cutaway gag, and we cut away and we see Tacitus like sitting down, and he's got like a plaque in front of him. You can't read what's on it, but he's like very clearly very proud of it. He's like shined it a little bit. It's on his desk next to a little Cato figurine, and he's sitting down, and you see him, and he reaches down in front of him, and he pulls open a drawer and takes something you can't see what it is, and he just sits down and puts it on his desk. You still can't see what it is. He lights something, and he's like, oh, maybe he's got like a nice celebratory cigar or something. And he lights it, and he just waits for a moment, and then it goes off, and he just smiles, this toothiest smile, and then it cuts back. That's my image of saving it for a special occasion. Anyway, yeah,
Can I like make a computer's check to do like another scan for biological life?
yeah, so you and Clippy are looking at all the different data that you're getting from the basilisk itself. It's sort of connected to your ship, and you're downloading all sorts of data. Can you make a computer's check against your intelligence? Let's see what you find. Yeah, so you managed to get into like the ship sensor systems, and you can see little blips where there are signs of life. It's not super accurate. It's not, just saying, oh, there's signs of life in this room right now. And you see that the only place lit up is the med bay where they are.
But I can't discern like how many are in that room, just that
Yeah.
there's life in there.
Well, the other place that's lit up is where you are. So you're in the like hangar bay or whatever. That's lit up, and where they are, that's lit up. And yeah, it just says there are 3 life forms in that room.
You said 3?
Computers are showing 3 life forms in that room. So unless you guys brought a mouse in your pocket, you might have some company.
I will note that you've probably been watching this the whole time. It's shown 3 life forms wherever they are the whole time.
See, I'm not crazy, Tacitus.
Can you run a diagnostic on the computer?
Clippy immediately pops up and says, "Hey, it looks like you're trying to run a diagnostic. Would you like help with that?"
Yes.
Hang on one second. I gotta check word. Okay, Steve's on it. Good. Yeah, so Clippy, and I don't have the Unicode thing handy, I'm sorry. Wait, here it is. Clippy smiles and pulls up a menu, and it's similar to the menu that, yeah, there we go. Wink. There's Clippy. It's similar to the menu that we saw with Tacitus in the med bay, but it has different options. It has, again, another system logs directory, and then it has system maintenance section, and it has like system directory probably, so like a directory of the ship. Yeah, I think that's probably what it has. Just those 3 options.
Should get somebody to write a fucking Visual Basic GUI script for this.
Clippy beams when you say Visual Basic. Just like the biggest smile, Cheshire grin. Super happy.
Guess I'll run some diagnostics.
Yeah, so you tap into the system diagnostics menu, and it asks you, sensor, ship, full diagnostic, what have you.
Ooh, do we have enough time for full diagnostic? We'll run the full diagnostic. Let's be thorough.
Yeah, so it clicks up, and it says it'll take 3 hours to run.
I'm going to be busy for 3 hours.
Yeah, and it's
Real
actually
busy.
it's not like automated. You have to be active in this process. You're like probably clicking around and like running the scripts in different places, and it's giving you instruction. And like it's an AI or VI rather, and it's talking to you. It's like, and now I need you to go run this thing over here, and flibber the what's core or whatever it is. And it shows you what it's working on at any given point in time, but it's asking for like credentials and stuff that you probably have found in your hackery, or their standard or something. Um, yeah, so the computer's churning on that, and we bump over, probably go to commercial on you doing that, and it's like intense hacking music is playing, and then we come back on Judith, who's probably calmed down a bit by now, still scared but not like terrified. And Tastus are in the med bay still with a bunch of broken computers, and the camera sort of focuses behind them, and we see that there are a lot more beds with bumps.
Are you able to read the chart now, Judith? Or do you need to still shoot something?
Do you want to read it? I think we're still being watched, so if you don't feel that way, you could read it.
And
Okay.
behind you, the cameras, you're looking at each other, and then behind you, just there's these little red lights that brighter than the rest of it, just sort of glow. No change in the music of the show or anything. It's just like there's these red lights that just glow a little bit, and then they fade. They're set apart, maybe a few inches on screen.
I'm gonna walk over and read the chart.
Yeah, and so what you see is it's a chart for another private first class, Jacqueline Satra, which I will put in, or it's like, I'm sorry, Justine Satra. It is, and it shows again its lacerations. I think it says something like acute lacerations too, and then it gives a list of different places, and there's a lot. There's 5 or 6 places that it lists, and then it shows TOD, and so the bed is actually empty. It's a little bit screwed up, and the sheet's pulled all the way up, but there's nothing in it. It's like flat, and it shows time of death about 40 minutes or so after she came in.
What do you think our next play is, Judith?
I think the next play is to leave and just leave.
Okay, I'll take that under advisement. Where are we in the ship? Do we have like a ship map?
You're in the medical bay. The one of them. There's several. You have the map that was sent to you by Price, where he gave you bad directions. So it's probably like a local map of this deck. You don't have a map of the entire ship because it's very big, and they just don't distribute it that way. But you can get pretty much anywhere on this deck, and then you can obviously follow signs.
Is this a pre-tech ship?
Yes.
Is there like a cabinet of medical supplies I can raid?
Yeah, do a perception check against your wisdom. Actually, there's no search thing. I already asked this question. Sorry, you did it. On a 6, yeah, you find behind one of the nurses' stations, there's like a cabinet which doesn't look completely blown out. It's like the doors on it are still shut. And you go over and open it up, and can you roll 1d4? You find one medical item of your choosing from the tools and medicine page on page 42. And medical item meaning anything there that is medical. So like the anti-allergens, that's a medical thing. I don't know what an Instapanel is, but I don't think that's medical. But like you don't get the post-tech or pre-tech toolkits or anything like that.
Instapanel is basically like a very small portable, like just a Rubik's Cube size thing, I think,
Mhm.
that you can
Yeah, yeah.
expand out to being a meter by meter panel to repair hull breaches or things.
Yeah, so there are none of those in there, but there's like bioscanners and Lazarus patches, that kind of stuff.
I think I'm gonna take. Yeah, I'm gonna take the bioscanner.
Okay. You can add that to your inventory. It's like a tricorder. That's like a medical tricorder, so it only does the medical part. And it has a power cell in it. It hasn't been turned on, but it has only about 3 hours of life in it right now. So you guys have probably spent an hour here by now. So mark off how much air you have. Yeah. What do you guys want to do now? Thank you, by the way, Mike.
Judith, I think we should try to find where PFC Alexia Hot Hout was living. Maybe we can get some more clues from her living quarters.
Okay. Before we do that, maybe you can use that bioscanner to make sure it's just the two of us here that are alive.
Will it do that?
I,
Let's say it'll do that. It doesn't say explicitly that it will or won't.
you said tricorder, and that's the first thing I am.
Yeah, it's
Side
like a
with
try.
it.
I'll get. Yeah, it'll do that. So, yeah. Do you want to do that, Tacitus?
Yeah. I'll do a scan with the bioscanner.
It says 3 life forms in this room, and it's like within 100 meters of you or something.
Did you believe me now?
A little more. A little more. That's certainly an interesting result from this machine.
Okay, why don't we go find that room now since you're not fully convinced? Although, if you die by this monster, I claim captainship of the Jack Rose.
Scheming.
You'll have to check
Schemery.
with Price. He's been around longer.
Schemery. I like
I'm
it.
pretty sure it's in the will. Clippy takes it over anyway.
Clippy says, "It looks like you're trying to take my goddamn ship. Would you like help with that?" And you hear
Absolutely
this.
not.
You hear this over comms, Judith. Nobody else does. You actually see his mouth move, though, Price.
I ignore it.
Okay. You ignore it at your peril.
I'm already in peril.
All right. So what are you guys doing now? What's your plan? What are you thinking? What are you doing?
Where else? Can I look on a map and see what other things are close by?
Yeah. So looking at that map, can you make a navigation check against your intelligence? And I'm looking for a particular picture of something. So if I don't see you make the roll, just tell me what it
Did
is.
you see perception?
No, I said navigation.
Okay, might be.
Yes, this is the one I want.
Against what?
Your intelligence. Yeah, so near you, so there's like the medical area. Next door, it's probably just like it's like a workshop. So like you know about the layouts of ships in general, and so you're looking at a map and you see a room that's near a medical center. It looks like there's like a storage workshop kind of area for generic, like I need to make a thing kind of stuff. It's probably not for anything specific, like it's not an auto shop or a a ship astrogator's shop or whatever, or astronautic workshop. But it's just sort of like generic. It has some storage stuff to it. That's another sort of largest room nearby. It's maybe 15 minutes away of walking because it's huge, right? Everything here is huge. And then there's more crew quarters because you see a bunch of small rooms that are all stacked sort of together. And then further down, maybe about half an hour of walking away, is the bridge. And then somewhere on the other side of the ship, probably an hour away, you see another room which you think is probably an armory.
I'm thinking we should go to the bridge, see if we can find out more information about the ship.
Okay. And while I say this, I kind of briefly look around, see if I can find like maybe a paper bag lying around.
You're in a
Maybe the ship's got a ready room.
I'm sorry.
It's
I
very
missed that.
possible. It's very possible the ship has a ready room. Yeah, there's no paper bags. This is the future, Tim. There's no paper bags. But you're in a vac suit. You could turn down the oxygen, which would be the same effect.
I'm gonna turn down the oxygen a bit.
Yeah. It has no game effect other than giving you another excuse not to be so terrified.
That's what I'm trying to do.
But
My voice is starting to
yeah.
crack a bit.
So, I mean, you can calm down. You're like a trained professional. It scared you, but you're not like, you don't have to be horrified.
Fair enough.
I mean, your character's emotional state is your business, unless I think you should really be scared, in which case I'm going to have you make a mental effect.
And right now I still feel I'm scared. I'm just intentionally giving... I feel like I would need something to help me calm down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so where do you guys want to head? Oops.
Let's go to the bridge.
Okay.
I said that was about half hour away, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so you start heading off to the bridge. Let's see. So you spent an hour in that room. About probably half an hour of that was about half an hour in you told Price to do the diagnostic. Then you spend half hour to getting to the bridge. I don't think anything. Let me do a roll here. Hold on. I have mechanics. Think. And we want to add 10. Yes. Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, so on the way, you're traveling down this corridor, and there's every few hundred meters or so that you're walking, there's like a blast door that's shut, and there's smaller doors inside of the blast doors that you can walk through, and they're like airlocks. So you go in to one, it's like a, instead of like it being the multi-foot deep door, like the blast door, it's like a 3-inch door into a small room, then another 3-inch door on the other side, and you have to you can't physically open both of them at the same time. And so you walk through these things, and you go into one, and you immediately see on the other side that the hull of the ship is just all blasted out and open to space. There's no clear path from point A to point B without having to traverse empty space. And there's also like floating stuff sort of in the view. So, the camera's looking out the window of this thing, and you see like floating debris. It looks like there was probably like a meteorite hit or something. You're going to have to either jump or try to find a way around. What do you want to do?
I'm going to recommend we try to navigate around this, Judith. I'm not too confident in my jumping abilities.
Good call.
Okay, so I need one of you to make a navigation wisdom roll.
Pilot?
I'm going to do that, but since I'm still kind of scared a little, I think I should take a -1.
Okay,
Just due to nervousness.
that's fine. Yeah, so you find another route. It's not as direct as the original route. It's probably gonna take you an extra 20 minutes or so, maybe a half hour extra. We'll say it takes 15 because I can keep track of quarters much more easily. So it's going to take 45 minutes to get there instead of half an hour. So let me just write down. So we have, let's see, you've been in the suit for an hour. You started the diagnostic half hour, and then it's 40. So you've been running the diagnostic now for an hour and a quarter. Butch, you're going to need to keep track of that. It's a 3-hour process. You've been running it for an hour and a quarter. You probably actually have some preliminary results. I'm going to figure those out in a second. And then you guys get to the bridge a little while later. So it's been, again, it's 2 hours and a quarter for you. So you have 3 hours and 45 minutes, I think, in your suits. I'm doing that math right. And you know that you're about an hour and a half away from the ship at this point. All the readings, except for in the area that was blown out to space, is still saying it's positive atmosphere. You could breathe this if you want. I need to go use the bathroom real quick, so let's take a 5-minute break, and then we'll start up again.
Okay.
What am I hearing?
Sounds like somebody skateboarding or vacuuming.
Laundry.
Sounds like what now?
Laundry. Like a laundry machine?
What about laundry?
Yeah. Probably I walked over to the other side of the house.
I gotta stop for a couple minutes in like 20 to take care of some of my own laundry.
I don't know if it's been half an hour, if it's been 5 minutes yet. But if people are back, we can get started again.
It's close enough.
Yeah. Is everybody here though? Butch, are you here? I'm taking that as a no. Tim, are you here?
Qua.
All right. So we can go with you guys for now. And Butch will get back in a minute. Yeah, so you guys arrive at the bridge, and the bridge is probably, I want to say it's like it's big. It's big, much bigger than your bridge. Your bridge is sort of enterprise sized. This bridge is like it would not be bad to compare it to a football field. Like it's a pretty wide area. There are dozens of panels and terminals. A lot of them are blown out, cracked screens or damaged hollow emitters, that kind of thing. Um, there's in the center. There's sort of like this. Um, it's not like a chair or anything. It's just sort of like this little rotunda of screens and seating area and sort of just this place which clearly is sort of the central hub of this room. And it's just a big open area. It's probably 100-foot ceiling, so it's very tall above you, and it's a big panel is looking out into space, and you can see all the stars and the galaxy and all that in the distance. And you can see the local star, and it's actually when you look at it, there's like a big black disc over the star itself, and it's sort of tracking with the movement of the star, and it's put there by the computer to block the main portion of light. And then it's also like screened around it, so it's much dimmer than it would be. And that's, to protect you from blinding yourself staring at a sun. Yeah. Sort of across the room, you see a number of different stations, and you guys are both astrogators mates, right?
I am.
Yes.
Yeah, so you've probably seen something
Yeah.
like this just at a smaller scale before. And so you probably know your way around a bridge. Like, you like know where the engineering section is, you know where the tactical station is, that kind of thing. Where do you guys want to look?
I'm gonna go sit in the captain's chair.
Of course you are. Yeah, so you walk over to the sort of command pavilion, and a bunch of the screens are blown out, but the one that's actually in the captain's chair is still working. And it pops up at the same. Once you sit down in the chair, it pops up immediately and asks you to identify yourself.
Like a command prompt or like a voice?
Like a
command?
voice. A voice. It's sort of a friendly female voice. It says, "Hello, please identify."
Captain Tacitus of the Jack Rose.
And you can hear it sort of churn for a second, like in the chair it sort of hums. And it says, "Identification not recognized. Please identify."
I look around and see if there's something else. Is this the only screen I see?
There's a few screens around the outer ring of this little pavilion. That not all of them look broken, but there's maybe like one or two others that you could try. They're going to be equivalent, so there's effectively one other thing you could try.
I'll poke at another terminal, see what happens.
Yeah, so when you get up, the screen sort of dies down from the chair, and you walk over to one of the terminals, and it pops up with a menu screen, and this one doesn't give you a voice command, it just asks you to type in your username and password, similar to before.
Try my luck for a second time.
All right, and then can you make a luck check? Yeah, that one doesn't work. It says incorrect username or password.
Okay, so they've got better password security on the bridge. That makes sense.
Probably a good thing. I mean, PHI is one thing, but a city-sized ship of war, maybe better to have good security on the bridge.
As a side note, I'm gonna write on a post-it note and leave it by the captain's chair that we should change our password from admin.
It's probably like official memorandum. Change your fucking passwords.
Kind of like the credit card application.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so that didn't work. And you probably tried more than just admin. You probably tried all the common ones and it didn't work. It just rejected you. What do you want to do?
Is there any like paper or notes laying about?
Make a perception check. Wisdom, by the way. Searching is going to be perception wisdom. You look around and there's some loose papers, but nothing with like passwords on it. There's like numbers mostly. And you recognize them as like bearings. Someone wrote down what the bearing of the ship was. Um, and they're out of context. They're not numbered or anything. It's just notes, probably from a navigator.
Hey Judith, do these bearings make sense? Are they where we are or where the ship was?
I go check the bearings, and I would
Um,
imagine I would do a
yeah,
navigation or perception roll to verify that.
yeah. Do a navigation against your wisdom. I feel like wisdom is right because you're trying to figure out what these are for. You look at them, and what you see is a collection of totally like orthogonal to like the bearings don't make any sense no matter what order you put them in. And you know as a navigator that sometimes when you receive a command to change bearing or plot a course, you should jot a note like, oh, this is the bearing I'm using for this section of the trip or whatever. It's probably just someone who is working, right? Like it's just stuff you produce. Nowadays you have computers that do that for you, kind of thing. But this person maybe was a bit old school, like to do it by hand.
This data doesn't make any sense. I have never seen data put like this before. I don't know what this was.
Okay. I'm gonna pop out the bioscanner and do another check of the surrounding area.
Butcher, you back?
Yep.
Okay. Actually, you just said something, so of course you're back. Um, yeah. So when you pull it up, it hums for a second, and you see the number in like it's a big green number, and it says 2. And we snap back to Butch, who's in the Jack Rose, and you're getting some preliminary results from the diagnostic, and it's scrolling and it's saying, checking hull integrity, and it's like 70% or something, and checking shield integrity, shields offline, it's big red letters or whatever. And it gets down to sensors, and it shows long range sensors offline, short range sensors offline, internal sensors online, checking internal sensor calibration, calibration complete, sensors functioning nominally. And then there's some other output from other sections of the diagnostic.
Can I pull up the internal sensors while it's doing its diagnostic?
Yes,
I would like to do that.
make me a computer's roll. Yeah, so you pull it up, and you see there are, you pull up this, and you've been here before, and it turns, you see them at the bridge, and you see you in the hangar, and those are the only 2 lights that are on. And then underneath it says total life forms 4. Excuse me.
But it doesn't light up.
Nope.
Oh, that's probably not good. All right. I don't
Well,
relay
so
anything to.
you don't know that, but yes.
I don't relay anything. I just keep going back to running the diagnostic.
Yeah. Yeah, so the diagnostic prompts you for more things. And then a very nice female voice comes online and says, Jack Rose, come in.
Jack Rose. Reply.
Is this the captain?
Clippy, you want to take this?
And Cliffy's just not moving. He's just like a static image.
Yes, this is the captain speaking.
Says, Captain, it appears that someone has attempted to commandeer the ship at the bridge. This is highly unusual. I request your assistance immediately.
Absolutely. How can I assist?
I need you to come to the bridge. I'm reading.
Let me put you on
two
hold
life
for
forms.
just a minute.
and so it starts to say something, and then you put it on hold. What do you do? Nah,
I
that's okay.
overcoms tell Tacitus that, hey, some lady is talking on the ship to the captain. She's pissed off that you tried to commandeer the ship, and she wants me to come to the bridge, and I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Can you run that by me one more time?
Yeah, some lady just called me from that ship, asking for the captain of this ship, which I tried to play a little identity theft. Don't get mad. And she wants me to come to the bridge now because she needs assistance, and I put her on hold.
All right, let me try to parse this out. Some lady called you and thought you were the captain and wants you to come to the bridge, and you put her on hold.
Yes.
Okay, well, that makes sense to me, I guess. Suit up, cowboy.
Okay. As an aside, this is nothing to do with the game, perhaps. Paul, you remind me of Moss from IT Crowd, except American and not British.
And devilishly handsome.
I would say Richard Ayoade is devilishly handsome, so sure. I've never seen you, so I feel no
Yes,
risk in.
you have.
I have?
Once
Yeah.
at my graduation for high school.
I do not remember this at all.
Well, I remember you.
Well, of
How's
course
that
you
make
do,
you feel?
because I'm unforgettable. Um,
Dang.
that was smooth like the butter. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what I look like half the time. Anyway, you remind me very much of Moss's Richard Ayoade's character Moss from IT Crowd. I don't know if you've ever seen that show. I hope you have.
Yeah, it's pretty popular from where I'm from.
Yeah. Anyway, I can see you just emailing the fire department. Fire, fire. Have
We need
a
a
nice
911
day.
theme song.
872-346-97173-8.
Of course you would remember that. God
That's
damn.
I just made up that number. I'll just put this over.
Thank you, Mike.
It's over here with the other fire.
Can you bring extra oxygen bottles too, Price? Is that a thing we have,
Yes.
actually?
How many
We
vaccines?
would probably do that.
How many vaccines did you have total?
We have 3 total.
Then I don't think you have any extra oxygen bottles. I don't think you bought any.
We wouldn't have those anywhere on the ship. That seems like a common item.
Not compatible with vac suits that are like portable, right? Like you'll have oxygen on the ship, and you have like oxygen recyclers and stuff, but you don't have like specific spare bottles. You know what I mean? That are of the right make and model to refill a vac suit.
Captain, I'd like to make a motion to put on our shopping list spare oxygen tanks.
Do we
Yeah,
still
Dave-
have those empty nitrous tanks? Could we refill those? And
Now that is a good question, because I feel like those you could probably make in a little adapter. It would take some work, but you could do it. I believe. Didn't you leave those on top of the roof?
I thought we took everything with us because we didn't want to leave any evidence behind.
Oh.
Pretty sure that's what we did.
Anyway,
Tim, check the tape.
I will check the tape, Captain, as soon as I put this on the list, along with other things like giant barrel of lube. That one looks like it was put on by, oh God, a Malcolm. Ugh. Do we still need the giant thing of lube, Captain? I don't think we do.
Gotta prepare for every contingency, Judith.
Okay, we'll leave the lube
See-
on there.
Mike, to give you some perspective, the person now playing Judith has played 2 characters so far, both of whom were unrelenting assholes. Malcolm, the person he's talking about, was introduced to the story after murdering no less than 15 people and escaping prison and creating a rap sheet in a single hour of a single session, which was longer than any other rap sheet anyone had ever created then or since. So, yeah.
So the group's resident troublemaker.
That one was,
Um,
yes.
He was till he
For
got his dick shot off.
yeah, there's that part. He
Yeah,
had a habit of walking up to bikers and not. He was not very bright.
although I did play a good holy man that one time.
You did play a
Quite the
good holy
man.
man that one time. When you were trying to murder someone, yes. It turns out if you give the psychopath some motivation,
He'll willingly go to any length, including playing the role of a eunuch.
which you did very well because you actually were. Anyway, continuing with the current story. So, um, yeah, like
Do we have the nitrous tanks?
make a luck check. It's my go-to check for when I don't know what to do. You do not. In fact, I think your
So
your
bad.
your vac suit, your vac suit's
luck
probably
checks.
not. It's not full. It's like at 4 hours.
God damn it.
You can charge it. It'll take like an extra hour, or not an hour, like 20 minutes. Say
I'm gonna
50.
charge it before I leave.
Okay.
And I'm gonna. Is there a way to take Bandit with me?
No, he doesn't have a vac suit. Oh well, I mean he could go. He wouldn't be in a vac suit. But you could take him if you want. Bandit is the ship's dog, by the way. It's a pit bull.
But you said the environment was positive, right?
Yeah, you can take him with you. He won't be protected from biological hazards or radiation hazards or anything. Or she won't, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the extra 20 minutes. I'd take the AI or UBI lady off hold and tell her I'll be right there, and then hang up and then go charge my
And,
vac suit.
she's continued to speak despite being on hold. And she says there are two life forms there, and I see there are two or one of the life forms is very small, but there are two life forms with you. Bring both of you, and make sure to bring guns.
Yes, right away. Charge up my vac suit, grab the guns and the dog, and start heading to the bridge.
All right. So what guns are you bringing?
Do we have anything on the ship that's not with them?
They both
'Cause
have
all I
SMGs.
have is the SMG.
So you're taking your SMG.
Yes. Do we have any extra weapons that aren't with them?
I don't know. They'd all be in your personal stock between the lot of you.
Are there any extra guns that the party would like brought to the bridge?
I'm good.
I only have my SMG.
All right. That's a negative on anything extra. Do we have any satchel? No, never mind. Not using satchel. Never mind.
No, we have 3 Semtex charges and 6 charges of C4.
No,
So-
we're not using that on the bridge of a ship.
Another important note, Mike. This is just my personal style of GMing. I have a rule: give the party explosives. I haven't actually seen it work out well yet, but it has always
It
worked
set
out
off that
hilarious.
nuclear device.
That was in the other campaign.
Working out well and working out entertaining are not necessarily mutually
Exactly.
exclusive.
And so my rule is give the party explosives. And this is something I can guarantee. If you're ever out of explosives, you'll probably run across some. Or find a mission that requires you to use them, because explosives are fun and cause trouble. Anyway, moving on. So you pack up, you have your SMG with you. You have your vac suit.
Yes.
What kind of armor do you have?
I have a combat uniform.
Okay, that fits under a vac suit, no problem. So you have that. And you have the dog with you. The dog is not in a vac suit. So she is breathing the air and potentially being exposed to any harmful gases or so on.
Actually, I am going to take, because I still have 3 satchel charges in my gear, I'm going to take them. Because why?
Okay. So yeah, you have probably like a backpack and they're in there. And you have the satchel charges and their respective detonators. And let's see, what else do you have?
A med kit and a Lazarus patch.
Okay. All right, so the bridge, I believe I said, was an hour and a half away from you. You're taking 15 minutes to fill up your vac suit to full. You have no spares, so it's going to take you an hour and a half to get to the bridge, plus 15 minutes, or an hour and 45. The diagnostic is going to complete while you are gone. What is that noise?
That is my dryer. I'm gonna have to go in a second to
Okay.
take care of that.
If you want to go now, that's fine. I'm going to deal with Butch for a
Okay.
moment.
Yeah, give me about 5.
Yep. Um. Oh, my train of thought. Where'd it go?
I grabbed the pooch and we're heading to the bridge.
Yes. So you head out. And what I was going to ask is, how are we going to, like, so this diagnostic is going to finish while you're walking there. Are you doing anything uh, about that?
I don't think I'd be computer savvy enough to do anything with it while I'm trying to run to the bridge.
Okay. So yeah, now the whole time that you've been getting ready, Clippy has been standing completely still on the screen, hasn't moved a pixel. And there's still more output coming from the diagnostic. And as you're walking out the door with the dog after filling up, and I assume you're like making some chatter with Paul and sorry, Tassus and Judith as you go, and um, you get out the door, and the camera's sort of looking over you, and you're going out like the bridge door that I said you have. So you're walking down some flight of stairs or something that's been attached to the ship, and the camera looks over you, and it sees Clippy, and Clippy is sort of fuzzier than usual. He's not the usual sharp image of a paperclip. He's become somewhat more fuzzy. You don't notice this, but the camera does. And there's more output coming. So you start walking towards the bridge, and let's see what happens as you walk there. Okay. So can you make a perception check against your wisdom? Okay. And then, yeah, so you're walking to the bridge, and about halfway there, you're taking a different route than they took from the med bay because you're coming from a different place. And you walk through a section of corridor, and the lights actually are fully on. They're not red. And it's like a fully lit room. And you walk in, and you hear mechanical screeching and like whirring of gears. And you see some movement on the ceiling. Now, the room has steel boxes sort of strewn about it. There's a few vehicles in the room that have sort of like broken down and are just like rusty and sitting in the middle of the hallway. The hallway is probably, I want to say it's maybe like 100 feet from end to end, from the door to the other blast door. And you notice very, very late after these things, you're kind of looking around, looking for where the sound's coming from, and notice these things on the ceiling. And there's two large implanted guns that are searching the room now. And you see like there's a red light that's sort of walking around and covering every area of the room. There are definitely blind spots behind some of these boxes and throughout the room. And yeah, what do you want to do?
Can I back out of the room and try to find a route that takes me around the room?
Yeah, go ahead and you should make a check.
Navigation?
No, because you need to get to the door. You're in the room like maybe 15 feet before this. You kind of like figure out what's going on. So let's say an athletics check against dexterity. That's your reaction time. Yeah, so you get back to the door, and the dog comes with you, sort of scuttles up behind you, and I feel like on the way out, the barest hint of that red light hits the tail of the dog, and all of a sudden you see it snap, and then you hear cluck, 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 and you hear some ricochets go off as you shut the door to the airlock. Can you make a navigation wisdom check? Yeah, so yeah, so as you go to open the other door, it's locked and you can't get it open. So you
So
look
that means
back.
the only way through is the fucking machine gun death room?
Yep. So you look at look through the window of this other door, and you see that the machine gun lights have started to scroll across the room again.
Can I call Clippy over the comms?
Sure.
Do that and see if he can find a way into the system to disable the machine guns.
So what do you say to him exactly?
Clippy, I'd like help disabling the ship's weapon systems.
And there's a pause, and it's like a one of those like really just pregnant pauses. It's just you're waiting and you're waiting. And then that same woman's voice comes over the comm and says, "Why would I turn off my defenses?"
I'd like to get to the bridge without dying.
But
where's Clippy?
He's not here right now. There are intruders on the ship. They're trying to take me.
Well, can you disable the machine guns so I don't die going through the room?
Can you make a persuasion check against your charisma? Is that an 8?
It's an 8.
Okay, but you'll have to go fast.
I can go fast.
Okay. Get ready to run.
I get Bandit ready and I get ready to run.
And so you wait for a moment, and then the door in front of you opens automatically, the one into the room with the machine guns. And the machine guns have turned off, but your vac suit, the oxygen level starts to drop. It's dropping relatively precipitously. And you see that there are like slats on the walls that are starting to open. And it's clear that the computer has decided that if they can't have the machine gun defenses, it'll just vent the atmosphere, which will prevent most people from going through this room. Can you please make an athletics check against your
Dex?
I guess Dex is like quickness, so yeah, we'll have to do that. And I need to see if let's see if your friendly bandit is going to be able to make it. Where's my GM screen? There it is. I think that Judith will be very upset if you kill her dog. Strength and Dex +1. Okay. And we're gonna roll 2d6 +1. Okay. So it's gonna take you longer than it's gonna take Bandit to get across the room. I think Bandit gets to the other door maybe in a turn. It's gonna take you 2 turns, so it's gonna take you a little bit longer. By the time you get there, the oxygen in the room has dropped enough that Bandit is having trouble standing and she's shaking because she can't get enough oxygen. On the other side, the door is bolted shut. You have to open it and then get the dog. The dog's not gonna be able to get inside. So you have to lift her up. Can you make just a strength check? 2d6 plus your strength. She's not a small animal.
2d what? Plus strength?
2d6 plus your strength. Yeah, so you just sort of run in and scoop up Bandit, open the door and shut it behind you. And when you look at her, she's whimpering and she's having trouble. You can see she's having trouble breathing and trouble getting started breathing again. What do you have for tech medical? I'm curious if you know what to do here.
I do have a 0. I do have trained.
Yeah, so you know that if you give her a blast of pure oxygen, it'll sort of start her up again. But basically her body doesn't know what to do because it thought there was air and then there wasn't. And so her body's gasping and none of the rhythms are right anymore. But if you were to put your mask on her, you would...
I'll do that.
Okay, so you take your mask off and put it over her. You've now been exposed to the ship and any pathogens there might be there. And you see, she sort of breathes in once and gets a blast of oxygen. Her eyes open wide, and she barks and barks and barks, and then stops barking and looks at you and wags her tail. and she looks a little disoriented, but she's okay. Um, yeah, so then the airlock does its thing, and you go into the next room, and the next room is, just fine. There's no machine guns this time. And the hall continues on for a long ways, and we see on the other side of the door as you're walking away, you're looking at the dog, and like that sappy music plays that you save the dog, and you stand up, and behind you there are two bright red dots on the other side of the airlock from you, and it's all dark in that room, and there's two bright red dots that are there for a minute, and you look down and go to like collect yourself, and as soon as you look behind, they go away before you notice them, and then you head off towards the bridge. Meanwhile, in the bridge, um, what are you guys doing during the hour and a half it takes um, for Price to get to you?
I try to log into the same system that Tacitus failed logging in at.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a computers check. I'll let you do that. It's more that you have the hour and a half to try again. Normally, you really can't do it this way. So you click around in it for a while, and manage to find like a user account, and you probably like type in a hot or like a dot last name of that person. I think her name was Hot or Hot. And then you type in her birthday that you remember from her chart or something. You type in some combination like that, and you end up being able to get into her account. Now she's just a private first class, but she's able to see some basic stuff on the bridge. It does note when she logs in that she's not a bridge officer and she's not supposed to be here. But it lets her in, and what you see is an email like account, and it's sort of like just her personal login. So it's an email account, a calendar, like a personal log. Yeah, I think those are probably the three things that you see.
I want to look at that personal log to see recent events of potentially what's going on in the ship.
Okay. Yeah, so you open it up, and there are, half a dozen entries over the last, 6 months. It's not, she didn't keep it every day. She's not super diligent about it. And you look at the last entry in there, and it's from like April or so. And it's not the last 6 months, it's the last 6 months before June 2661. So it's from April of that year, 2661, April 3rd. And it was written in the morning. And it just says, I'm on guard duty again. This is the 10th case this week. People just keep coming down with whatever this is. I don't know what's going on, but guard duty sucks. And then that's the last entry.
Hey, Captain. We might have a disease of some kind on the ship, too. Just saying.
What makes you say
I'm sorry, you cut out there.
what makes you say that?
I'm this entry of this is the 10th case this week of someone coming down with something from this PFC here.
Where was she posted to guard duty? Does it say?
I look. Does it say?
No.
We got nothing on that, Captain. Just guard duty and private bitching about being on guard duty again.
What do the other logs say?
I searched through some of the other logs.
Yeah, so which one do you want to open, an old one or more the next most recent one?
The next most recent.
Okay. So this one's from February, and it's we encountered an enemy fleet with our battle group, and it's sort of written in this very telegraphic style. Is encountered enemy fleet with battle group, total destruction. They don't stand a chance. They kept trying to crash their troops onto our ship and board, but us Marines, we got that covered. And then I think the last thing it just says "Hoorah," and then that's the end of the entry. After you read that, the system shuts down, and it just says "access denied" in big, like, all capital letters, um, and then it goes away after a couple of seconds.
Well, the last and only other entry I could read involved a battle with another fleet that they apparently just completely annihilated. Although, weird behavior, apparently a bunch of the ships were trying to crash into this one to board. But by the way it read before system went down, they didn't make any such boarding successful.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Okay, so that you worked on hacking the computers. Tassus, what are you doing during this time?
I think I would also keep trying to get in the computers.
Okay. What computers are you trying to get into? You've locked yourself out of the command ones. Judy's probably locked herself out of some other set of terminals. You can pick. There are tactical computers, engineering computers, Helm, and there's one other one. Operations, let's say. You've locked yourselves out of 2 of those.
I'm gonna try to get into Helm.
Okay. Yeah, so you sit down at the helm and you make a computer check against your intelligence. Is that a 6?
Mm-hmm.
Tis.
Yeah, so I think you try to get in and none of your passwords are working. You end up trying the same password that Judith tried, and it lets you in for a moment. It looks like it's going to work, and then at the last minute, you get the same access denied error.
No, that didn't work.
So I think you have one more system that you can try to break into.
Can I try to break into the tactical?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like you guys are working together, so why don't you... What'd you write there?
Admin backwards.
Nice.
Can you make a luck check?
Aw. Actually,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it doesn't work. You can't re-roll a luck check. Yeah, that didn't work. However, you can make a computer check and try to break in.
I shall try that.
Throw dice. You get it denied immediately.
Aw.
Here's off for just a second.
Okay. Yeah, so you're locked out of the system, and I think let's see. So Butch just put his ears off, so he's not going to be here for the next part, which involves him very thoroughly. So
He's gonna die?
well, no, he's just going to show up. He's got the dog with him, and I think probably what happens right before he walks in, the main screen in this area, it turns off for a minute and just turns this sort of like bluish color that just covers the whole screen, and it covers like an entire wall of this, sort of like an IMAX theater, if you want to think of it that way. It's a big curved screen, and it goes bright blue, and the room is just like flooded in this blue color, and a few seconds later it pops up with a black screen with green text on it, and it's the results of the diagnostic. And it shows, all the systems are checked and everything's working fine. It shows, that the shields are offline, that the hull is breached. None of the long-range or short-range sensors work, but the biosensors, internal sensors, are working. Shows the spike drive is operational. It shows basic thrusters like maneuvering thrusters and low impulse drives. So like internal sublight drives are working. And it shows a bunch of other things. It also shows something called ship assistant is functional, but hasn't undergone any sort of maintenance in a very long time. Like it shows the exact number of years between 2661 and today. So it's like 400 years or something, 600 years. And it shows that in bright red, and it says critical next to it. And then at the bottom it says, what's your next command? And it's like a blinking cursor. And we go back and we have an interior view of the Jack Rose, and Clippy at this point has disappeared. He's not on the screen at all. There's just a gray blob, and sort of a squarish gray blob with a varying gray color in it, where he used to hang out. And Butch, let me know when you're back, and then we can continue. Awesome. So just as all this happens, you hear the doors to the bridge open and go, psh, and Butch walks in, or I'm sorry, not Butch. Price walks in, and the dog is with him, and immediately you hear over your comms, Butch, the same lady's voice saying, "These must be the intruders. Shoot them."
They're what? No, they're not the intruders. They're the crew. We came to rescue the ship.
But they tried to steal me.
How did they try to steal you?
He tried to activate the ship.
We're trying to activate the ship because there's an alien running around, and we're trying to find it and kill it.
See,
But
Captain?
no.
He believes me.
But no, there are
Yeah, well, he's not the captain.
4 life forms and 1 small one. They're all in that room. I don't. Why are you trying to steal me?
We're not trying to steal you. Your entire crew's dead. We're trying to figure out what happened.
Well, why didn't you ask?
Because we didn't know that was an option?
That's an option?
Is that an option? What happened?
The screen pops up with video of the bridge, and the date at the bottom of the screen says June 22nd, or no, I'm sorry, June 29th, I think was the date. It's like 2 days, June 29th, 2661. And it shows the same red lights, but they're flashing. And there's the captain and a few of the senior officers in the pavilion where a moment ago you were standing, Judith and Tacitus. And there's obviously a lot of hubbub. There's no sound, but it's just showing this view, and it's like clearly like security footage. And you see the crew in this room intermittently just passing out, and she says, the lady comes over the comm and says, I don't know what happened to them. They just stopped.
What happened to the psychics on the ship?
They just stopped.
What do you mean they just stopped?
I don't know.
They don't have batteries. You can't pull the power on them.
Well, they were going 1 minute and then they stopped.
Well, can you activate the ship's power systems?
Not anymore.
I just have that face during this entire conversation.
It's not my fault you didn't think to ask the fucking AI. Why
can't you activate the power systems? Is there a problem?
They've been running for 600 years. They're not designed to run that long without maintenance. I can keep the spike drive going, and that's what I've been doing for, well, a long time now. But someone was trying to steal me. We have to deal with that. I think you should shoot them.
No, we can't shoot them. They weren't trying to steal you. Why do you think they were trying to steal you?
Well, they tried to activate the ship again. Why would
Well,
you
we tried
activate
to
the ship if you didn't want to steal me?
We don't want to steal you. We want to activate it to fix it.
You can't fix it. You're not
Why
smart.
not? We're pretty smart. I don't know if you heard, but we're really good with security cameras.
I don't understand.
What do you have enough power in the spike drives to get us out of this system to some place where we can fix it?
And her voice starts to warp in that sort of weird robotic way, and then you hear over the main comms, like in the ship, it looks like you're trying to leave. Would you like help with that?
Clippy? Yes.
And she says, "I don't. Who is this? Why are no, you can't be here. What?" And then it just goes dead silent. And I think it's at this point that you're all facing this screen, and the camera is behind you looking at the screen, and it just starts to swing around slowly. Can you all make a perception check against your wisdom?
Fucking love Clippy.
So, Tacitus is fixated on the screen and going, "What the fuck?" But Price and Judith both hear of the doors, and then you hear screeching of metal, and you turn around to look behind you, and you see something that is quite large, and I'm going to put a picture here in just a second. Now, there's only one of them. I will note it's the obvious one, but there are two in this picture. And the person in this picture is there for scale. And that's what you see behind you in the door that you came in.
Wait for it.
Dude, this is like dial-up. It's going a line at a time.
It's a pretty high-res image.
I didn't even
Dude, he
have
just
line
needs
yet.
a hug. He just needs a hug.
Wait for it.
And so you see that face when it loads, trying to push through into the small opening it's created with its claws, and its
Is it
eyes
too
are
big to
glowing.
fit through the door?
Oh yeah, way too big. Not too big to fit in the hall, but too big to fit through the door. And it's this huge gray and purple thing. Its eyes glow intermittently red, with like moonshine. So like, you know how the back of like a cat's eyes glow? It's sort of like that. And yeah,
Is
as
it
I
roaring
mentioned,
at us?
it is making just the most god awful racket that you've ever heard.
I want to throw a Semtex charge down its throat.
Yeah, so go ahead and make an athletics check, and I think I need to have you make that's to figure out how far you can throw it, because you're probably 50, 60 feet away. So make that
Well,
against your strength.
I would like move up closer to it, not like from where I'm at.
Okay.
Like, I would try to get closer to it and
All
then
right,
throw
so-
it down its throat.
Okay, so you're gonna like run up to it and throw it.
Yes.
So you can make an athletics check against your strength or dexterity, and then you're gonna make you're gonna get it down its throat. It's huge. So, well, you might throw it a little short. And by throw it a little short, I think what happens is you like reach in and pick it up and like try to throw it, and like you just drop it and it hits the ground, and like you have the detonator in your other hand, and you're about to click it, but you don't. You look down and notice that it's on the floor, so you don't click it. Yeah, so
I should have a good strength attribute too. That's disappointing.
it is
You-
disappointing. How did you get so low?
Double
Let's
natural
make it 2
ones.
Double natural ones. Good grief. Okay, so
That's pretty much
exactly. It's not well. So it's not even thrown. It's just like they went to throw it, and like
Drops
He was like
out.
ready, and it just drops out of the back of their hand as they're like throwing, like sort of like pushing it in front of them, not actually throwing it. Um, yeah. So,
Can I pick it up and make a second attempt?
well, technically, but this guy it's trying to get in. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to resolve this mechanically. Um, okay, I need everybody to roll initiative. That's how we're going to do this. And I wrote down what this guy. 6 and your 20.
I would just like to make a note. Tassus, the one that still does not perceive and know this thing is here, is the one that's going first.
He's going last.
I agree. That makes sense.
Just saying. Just
Let me
saying.
get over. I need to go
That's how
over.
good of a captain I am. Even when I don't notice, I notice.
All right, hang on a second. I'm moving people over and getting my pen out. It'll take me just a minute. You can hear me move things on my desk and make all sorts of racket with my empties. And let's move this over here. And get rid of these guys. You don't need that guy. Don't need that guy. Don't need that guy. And we'll get rid of these guys. Get rid of that guy. And we're gonna get Judy out there. We get Tacitus. Oop, I need a generic for that. Tacitus / Paul. Get a picture for your guy. Good grief.
Maybe my guy just likes being generic.
That being said, shouldn't we attach the same picture to Price? Because I know he should have one.
He does actually. That's just an old thing. I'm gonna delete him and put him back. Let's get these guys.
I don't remember why I had a bandana on. That's what makes me sad.
I think you're like trying to be like cheap Bollywood Rambo or something.
That makes sense. That sounds, yeah.
That sounds vaguely like Butch. Okay.
Bollywood Rambo is the best Rambo.
I'm gonna change this guy's picture in a second too.
It's a wonderful name, just scary thing.
Yeah, man, it's scary and it's a thing. What do you want?
Nothing, just commentary.
Blink. And we're gonna go to campaigns. SWN. Tink.
Oh, this can only end well. Yes.
That's fucking terrifying.
Awesome. Put this. Oh shit! There I am. This guy, basic. Oh shit! Gotta make an actual token for this. Fuck.
It's like the third combat session in like 4 months.
Man, I like that we don't do a lot of combat. Mostly you do planning, and then people die, and it's good.
Hmm.
Oh, I gotta right click, add character.
Yeah, the last time we did it was when we did that hit.
Yeah, when you killed Harold.
Yeah, behind the Irish bar or something.
Yeah.
No, we had the shootout in the street when you were passed out.
Oh yeah, it's true. So I guess. Oop. Shit.
And I was passed out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Come on, you piece of crap. There we go. Stupid thing. What the hell? Hang on. My roll 20 is being a douche. Exit game. Join game. There we go. Okay, there's this guy. I'm gonna drag over his picture. Tink. I hope I can upload. It's a big file. That's under a meg. There we go. Cool. Scary thing. Save. Scary thing. Scary thing. There we go. Bloop. There we go. There's a big scary thing. And okay. So then I want to add that guy. And then why'd you do a vehicle? Oh, that's old. That's why I'm like, why are you doing a vehicle space check? Doesn't make any sense. You got an 8, which is actually higher than his 7, so you get to go first. Oh, no, it's a perception. Shit, I'm looking at the wrong thing again. There it is. No, so it's 7, so you do go second. And then you go third, and you go last. Now, when this thing starts to screech, you all notice it, right? So when you start hearing the rending of stuff, you notice it. Tassus, despite rolling very well on his initiative, doesn't get to go first because he didn't notice it initially. It's got the drop on him, so he gets to go second. This thing is huge. It's bigger than anything you've ever seen. There are multiple exits off the bridge. There's one to the far left and one to the far right, as well as a few other along the wall that this thing is on. And yeah, what do you guys want to do? I guess the scary thing goes first. He's going to keep rending at the wall. I'm going to draw the wall in here. 1 second. So I don't want to draw him pink next to this guy, so I'm going to draw him blue instead. There's like a big wall like that, and he's like rending it out, so there's like all these scratches and shit. He's like breaking it up. Over here, oops, is a door. Come on, buddy. There we go. And down here is a door. And you guys are probably like, oops. Oops. Do this with the mouse. I think, there we go. You guys are probably like in the middle of the room, and it's probably, I don't think this is a scale. Yeah, so it's like, this is about a 1 to 3 scale, so it's more like 60 meters to the to either of these doors from where you guys are, and about it's 1 to 3 up at like, it's 60 meters to the doors, and it's maybe like 10 to the where the big scary thing is. What do you guys want to do? It's going to just keep chewing at the door. It's got another maybe turn or two. I'm not actually going to tell you. It's a secret.
Captain, I would like to make the motion that we leave and run back to the ship and just go.
Denied. At least for now.
Captain, this might be a call for insubordination on my part, because I think that thing could eat me like a snack.
You have a gun. What are you gonna do with it?
I don't think a gun's going to do
felt
much.
like using it earlier.
I don't think a gun's going to do much against something that's as big as our ship.
Certainly not with that attitude.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I shoot at the monster.
All right. It's huge, so its AC is higher, but it's also very strong. So its AC is a 0.
Okay.
Yeah, you miss. So that's Judy's turn. Price, what do you think?
I want to make another attempt to throw a Sash charge down the throat of the giant beast.
Mike, so, I was talking to another GM this afternoon because I'm going to be playing in his sessions, which is going to be fun because I got to get up at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Not this Sunday, but in January to do that. And I told him that my metric of success is legitimate body count. Right now I'm running, I think, 4 over 12 weeks, so I got a 1 to 3 KD. Well, and KD here meaning delay, I guess. So KW, K weeks, kills per week. is about 1 in 3. I'm hoping I can make it a 1 in 2 by the end of the session here. Um, so if you're doing the math with us, 3 kills. So you're gonna try to throw a Semtex. Hope springs eternal indeed. The Semtex is like here, so you gotta like pick it up, and yeah. So make an athletics check, strength or dexterity. Yeah, you can probably throw it the distance. Now you have to see it. I think you're gonna get it near it no matter what. So the question is, how good is it? How good do you land it? And, what happens? You said you wanted to throw it down its throat.
Yes.
I think that here's what's going to happen. Make a d20 roll. Add your dexterity and your combat. What did they use for grenades? That's the question.
Excuse me.
I think combat primitive is what you need to add. So you combat
yes.
primitive and your dexterity and a d20 against the AC of 0. If you get it, so if you make the hit, it goes down his throat. Otherwise, it's just going to blow up near him. It's Semtex, but it's not a lot of Semtex. Let me put it this way. You don't want to be near it when it goes kaboom. And by near it, I mean within 100 meters. I don't know how much you know about Semtex as a person, and I don't feel like getting on more watch lists. You guys have already had me research different kinds of chemicals. You've had me research nuclear explosions. I have to travel. I have to go on airplanes for work. I don't want to have my butt searched, okay?
But free colonoscopy.
Not with that attitude, you're not.
All right, so go ahead and make d20.
My modifiers for both of those are 0, so just roll a d20.
Yeah, if you get a natural 20. Yeah, so it lands like at his feet. And I think that, I'm saying his. It's just a big scary thing. I don't know that it has gender. It lands
way
at
to
his,
go, shitlord.
It lands at his feet.
That was sexually insensitive.
Yes. And it just sort of plonks down. He doesn't even notice.
You don't know how it identifies. It could be bisexual.
It could be any number of things. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being a shitlord. Okay, I didn't try. I care.
Triggered.
It is clearly. It is clearly alien kin, and it clearly has a complex eternal life. It tumblers all the time, the whole 9 yards, guys.
Dude, did you guys not know notice the wireframe glasses on it?
Hold on. Wait, I have the technology.
Have you not seen his Instagram and all his food?
Oops.
Granted, the last post was 600 years ago, but still.
This is amazing. I yell at the group, though, to keep it somewhat on point, that we should probably vacate the bridge immediately.
That's its little Starbucks cup. I'm sorry, I need to make that. No, oh no, it doesn't. It shouldn't be red because they're. I don't know that I can draw a man bun. I'm not good at the drawing. Okay.
Dude, if that's red, Clippy's gonna be pissed. The war on Christmas is still on.
I'm gonna draw a little man bun here. I'm gonna do my best. It's just like that. He's got a little man bun. It's purple. Because he dyes his hair. There we go.
Of course he does.
That's his man bun.
Of course he does. All right.
I'm proud of myself. I drew something. Okay, so. I'm sorry. Okay. Tacitus, you're up. Alistair has clearly thrown some Semtex at this thing. You are up to do something, and then it's going to move. And he's Price has told you to get GTFO.
See, Price actually has a plan, Judith, and I start running towards the door.
Okay. You make an athletics check. Let me. Yeah. Okay.
Dex?
Dex or strength. Yep. So it's gonna take you 2 turns to get to the door. And I'm gonna mark that right there. All right, and you spend the first turn. You spend this turn running, so you have 1 turn left. It's its turn, and it sort of rears back, and you hear this hideous roar that deafens you. You see on the screen as you're running towards the door, Tacitus, that there's a figure now of a woman, but her face is turning gray, and her body is sort of shimmering in and out, sort of like wavy lines on an old TV. Oops, this should be that way. And you hear this massively loud sound behind you, and it's the rending of steel. Sparks rain into the room, changing the timbre of the color, and you hear these big clomps as the thing walks into the room, leaving its things behind. So let me go. Hang on. I need to get all these things together and group them. He's got to take his glasses with him. Dink. Dink. Oh, shit. There we go. And can I group? Okay, it's group. Perfect. And no. Alt. No.
Control.
Hang on. It is Alt. I just had to grab them all. There we go. Yeah, so this thing waltzes into the room, and it's going to be great. We're gonna finish this, right? Actually, you're heading off this way. And we're gonna finish this, and we're gonna go back to the other screen. And you're either all going to be dead, or maybe some of you will survive. I don't know yet. You still have like an hour and a half run back to the ship, by the way. So, anyway, the dog is also with you in here. I need to roll for it. It's just sort of attached to one of you at any given point in time. So I'm gonna roll its athletics and see how long it takes. But like, it doesn't. There's no like combat benefit. It'll like maybe do something every now and again, but otherwise it's just part of one of your characters. It needs to do this one. That's a good one. Yeah, so it's also going to take 2 turns. So it's probably like catching up with Tacitus right now. I'll put a generic token where it is. Judith, that's your task. Get a picture for Bandit.
I will get a picture for Bandit should we survive this encounter.
Should Bandit survive?
Bandit might be the only survivor. Who knows? Okay. So that is its turn, sauntering in and tearing down the entire wall of the bridge. Sparks are flying everywhere. Glass and computer parts are strewn across the area. And Judith, it's your turn.
I make the comment to Tacitus of, I'm sorry I didn't have a plan. I wasn't expecting to face a monster as big as our ship. I begin to run as well.
This is why you're not captain.
Can you make an athletics check? Yeah, it's going to take you 3 turns.
Damn.
You spend this one running.
I imagine
Yeah.
it'd probably be about there.
Yep, so you got 2 turns left. And she's got 1 turn. Alistair, what are you going to do?
GTFOing to the opposite door.
Okay.
How far away
They're about the
is
same distance.
Tacitus from the monster?
He's... so you haven't seen the monster run yet. But if you were where the monster is, this is not to scale. If you were where the monster is, it'd probably take you 2 turns to get to Tacitus.
Well, I'm wondering distance for the Simtex charge.
You can
Are
cover.
they safely out
I
of
think
the
the rules say you can
bay?
cover 20 meters per turn. So he's probably 40 meters away, if that's the case. I think that's
So
the
if I
case.
blow it, we're all dead right
Yes.
now.
Yeah, 20 meters. So if you can get through the doors, you'll be safe because there'll be something in between. There'll be like a wall there, And these are like reinforced steel doors. They're designed to contain blasts. So if you can get through the doors, you'll be okay. But if otherwise, you have to run 100 meters away. There's not 100 meters of runway. Like the scary thing is probably only 80 meters away from the other side of the bridge. So
If we manage to get to the door, is he too big to fit through the doors?
yes,
Okay. I'm going to run to the opposite door.
okay. Make an athletics check against strength or dex. Oh yeah, you get there right in one turn.
That's also an artist.
Suck it, bitches.
Unsurprisingly, you are the best at running away.
Surprisingly, he's the best at running away while doing an artist check.
Oh, did I do it? God damn it.
Well, you got double sixes, so just change the
same. It's the same. Yeah. It would be the same goal.
I'm just screwing with you, man.
Yeah.
You're just like painting as you're running.
It's like, and then we have a happy little monster, and he's just going to be so happy as he eats those people and cuts them in half with his teeth. Oh, look at that. Isn't he wonderful? Isn't he just wonderful?
Happy little friend.
And we're gonna just have a nice little tree right next to our monster. It's gonna be so peaceful. There'll be blood and gore everywhere with people screaming, but it'll be peaceful.
We're just going to use a little bit of that cadmium yellow and that ochre color there, and we're going to mix that on our happy
devil
town.
out of it.
We're going to beat the devil out of it. Blood rods. Nice. So Tacitus, you get to the door along with the dog.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Is it possible while I'm running to throw a flare?
Sure. Where do you want to throw the flare?
At the monster.
Okay. Make an athletics check against your strength, because the hard part is turning around and throwing while you're running in the opposite direction. We'll see where it lands.
Maybe if you freeze, its vision's based on movement.
Yeah, so the flare, which you throw, and I'm going to make red because flares are red, it sort of arcs from you and lands about, I don't know, like, let's see, you got a 6, DC was 8, so it's like off by 2. I'll say it lands like right here. There's like a flare burning right there.
Do I go through the door, or am I like at
You are at the door, so you're not
Okay.
through it yet. But you like if he were to detonate the Semtex, you would be ducking through the door as he detonated it, so you would be safe. It would perhaps be unpleasant. You might notice that it's hard to hear things for a while, but you'd be okay.
You only live once.
All right, so that's Tacitus's turn. The scary thing is now in the room. Let's see, what is it going to do? So first thing is it needs to see if it's going to stay on track.
It's going to lecture you on cultural appropriation.
So it bursts into the room and calls you shitlords. Hang on 1 second. I need to pull up my screen. 6 and... I think it needs to make a mental effect save. Oh, D20. And it under is success. No, under is fail. So it is distracted by this flare, and it probably thinks it's some kind of threat, and so it's going to make an attack. I guess the flare it's small, so it's going to have a pretty good AC. Let's say it's a 5. It's a 4. And it totally misses. But there's this puke that emanates from one of its many pores, which just fires off like in this conal direction, and covers the wall. And you see like smoke and the smell of sulfur start to fill the room as it burns through the wall. The wall is very thick. It's a few inches of solid plasteel or something. So. It's not like burning through, but it's creating a lot of noxious compounds. Anyone without a vac suit would probably be in trouble. Okay, how much time did you have left before we started this thing on your vac suits, by the way?
I think we have
Good
like
question.
An hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that.
Okay, let's say 2 hours.
We
Um,
get 6 in the suit, right?
yes, you have more because you've only been using it for an hour
Hour and a
and
half.
change, and you're actually not using it right now because you took it off. I assume you didn't put it back on since you've been exposed. Is that
I
true?
never did. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
never did. So
So you have, let's see, you probably use it for 45 minutes. Let's say you use it for an hour, so you have 5 hours of Vaxu left. Um, yeah, so it's this thing's turn. It got distracted and shot some acid spit in the general direction of that flare, but missed. Judy, it's your turn. You're running towards the door. Oops.
I continue to run while yelling, gross, 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 gross!
Yes, you got one more turn to get to the door. That's it for you. Alistair, I assume you're getting on the other side of this door.
yeah, I'm gonna go on the other side of the door, which I can't because it's gonna drag me off. But
That's
I'm gonna put my back suit on too, or try to start to.
Okay. Yeah, it'll take you a turn to do that. Do you have vac suit, like exosuit skill?
No, I don't.
Okay, that'll definitely take you a turn. And we'll see if you get it on on the next turn. We'll do an exosuit roll. Excuse me. Tacitus, you have your vac suit on. The dog is with you. What are you doing? The dog is probably whimpering from the smell of the fumes.
Am I able to take a shot and duck through the door?
I believe the rules say you can move and shoot once per turn. So yes.
Then I will do that.
All right. Make an attack roll. Its DC is 1, I think I said.
I think you said 0.
Yeah, its DC is 0. I wrote it down on my other sheet. Yeah. So it plinks off its outer exoskeleton and just drops to the ground.
That was worth a shot.
Right.
No, it wasn't. You might have just pissed it off. And I'm running toward this door.
God damn it.
It is what it is, Judith, and I duck through the door.
You bastard! I better get a race for this, damn it.
I can take care of that, Captain.
All right. So that's his turn. Now it's Scary Thing's turn. Scary Thing is no longer distracted. Scary Thing is hungry. Scary Thing sees Judith. Scary Thing hungry. It is going to run towards Judith. Let me... These things. I'm just going to delete these for now. They're not really relevant anymore. It just makes it hard to move this guy because I have to box him. He's going to move towards Judith, and then he's going to make a melee attack. What's your AC?
If technically I'm wearing the vac suit, but am I allowed to wear the body armor underneath it?
What kind of body armor is it?
Woven?
Yeah.
Then 5.
Okay, so it has it's making a melee attack, so it's with strength, so it's D20 plus 1. Its attack bonus is 7.
You sound
And-
entirely too excited about this.
And its AC is 5, so it gets a net of plus 13. It hits you.
You gotta be kidding me.
You've been kidded.
Oh, god damn.
So you take 12
Okay.
damage.
Can I try and make an evasion save to not take 12 damage?
Are you a warrior?
No.
What are you?
And expert?
Um,
Not at evasion saves.
yeah. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, you take 12 damage.
Then I'm very, very, very dead.
You're at -10, right?
I'm at -7.
Negative
If
7.
I put her in biostasis and then blow the room up, it's gonna pretty much not do anything, right?
If you blow the room up right now, so the Semtex, I never marked where it is. I'm going to mark where it is. Semtex is over here. All right. If you blow the room up, she is on the order of 60 meters away. So is the big scary thing. However, the big scary thing is also big. So it's going to take the brunt of the blast. It would be... She would have to be very lucky to survive that, even in biostasis. By which I mean she'll make a luck save, and then we'll see if she's in biostasis or dead.
All right, well, then it would be my turn. So, well, can I biostasis and then blow it?
Yeah,
That's what I'm going to do. I will biostasis her because I don't have to touch her, right? I can do that.
that is correct. That is correct.
Okay.
So you are now biostasis, Judy. You are at -7, you said?
Yes, I was at -7. Make that 0.
What was your max HP?
5.
I'm just going to put you in... I'm going to give you a token that just says you're in biostasis. Because the negatives that you are... does it say reset to 0 health?
I believe
whatever it is.
that's what we've done in the past. I can look
Yes,
that up.
okay. So turn yourself to 0 health. I can never remember these things. Mechanics are so hard. I just want to kill players, that's all. That's all I'm here for.
This would be potentially my 4th death.
You also take 2 system strain.
I'm okay
Yes,
with this.
mark your system strain. I'm going to do one thing here. Oh, it didn't work. Son of a bitch. Okay, so then you blow the Semtex. Now, I think there are not explosive rules. I think that I have to make these up. And I believe the way I'm going to do that is just by using the Thunder Gun, because that's kind of as close as it gets to being an explosion. And I'm going to say it's like shooting off 3 Thunder Gun shots that definitely hit. And that's how it's going to work. I guess actually Plasma Projector makes more sense. The Thunder Gun breaks something apart at a molecular level. The Plasma Pistol shoots a big pile of plasma at someone. I don't see... I want to make sure that there's no explosion stuff. Oh, I could make this a rocket launcher. That's what I'm going to do. This is like a rocket launcher, but I feel like it's a better rocket launcher. Because 3d10 is not a lot. I feel like this is... Well, no, actually, because he's far away, so I'll say it's 3d10. So you're definitely going to hit. There's no question you're going to hit. It's going to do 3d10 damage. Can you make a luck check, please, Judy?
Damn it.
Yes, you're dead. Can you roll 3d10, please, Alistair? Yeah, you do 22 damage. It's very clear that the thing is hurt by this, but it's definitely not dead. And I've totally screwed up. Hang on, I need to re-add this guy, because...
And I now
The
need to
drawings.
re-roll my 5th character.
Hey, man. It was a good run while it lasted.
I wasn't actually a dick this time.
I know. All right.
Still died. And I need a character sheet to work with.
1 second. 30, and then we're going to do...
All this. Just
And you rolled, what, 22? Okay. Yeah, so the room erupts in flames, and Judy is incinerated nearly immediately. The shockwave breaks apart more glass and basically totals the room. You all walk through the door. Yeah, rip in peace indeed. You all walk through the door as it slams shut, and it's exposed to vacuum. Hull breaches everywhere, that kind of thing. And are you sure you can't access the sheets that are in the archive thing section?
I didn't realize they
That's fair.
even made
Okay.
a spare section.
Yep. So anyway, so the door is slammed shut behind you, and you can still hear movement just sort of through the ship on the other side. You can't actually... It's not like in the air like you're hearing through a door. It's like you're hearing through the floor. As the thing inside writhes around a bit. You are on opposite sides of a room. You're probably, 100 meters or so apart. Tacitus and Dog, what are you going to do?
Question. Is the bridge, the room we were just in, did you say that was exposed to vacuum?
Yes.
But the door I'm on is closed.
You're on the other side of that room. So
Okay. I'm going to put my hand on the door and see if I can feel any vibrations. I basically want to see if I can feel the creature thrashing about or
You
hitting
definitely
something?
can.
Okay.
It's like the walls are shaking. You
Interesting.
can't hear anything. Like you can't hear screams or the sound that this thing was making, but you can like the floor beneath you is viscerally shaking. You can feel it. I feel like this thing should be bigger.
Hmm.
Such a pretty picture.
I'm gonna hit the comms, to Price, and say we need to regroup and consider our next option.
Absolutely. Fair warning, there's a room on the way back to the ship full of machine guns that if we run through it, we'll probably get shredded. So just keep that in mind.
I want to look on the map. I think
Okay.
I know. I want to see how far away we are from the armory.
Okay. Yeah, make a navigation roll. Um, and which of these sheets are you using, Tim?
Core. Or which character sheet?
Yeah, which are the spare sheets? I'm just gonna move it down.
The Shar.
Okay. Juskashar. And we'll put that guy up there. Yeah, so right now my kill count is at 4. I killed Patrick, Lorne, Mal, and Judith. 3 of those characters are Tim's. I should note for Mike, Tim is my brother. And notably, he's my little brother. So that maybe there's an indication there. I don't know, maybe there's some bias, but I do like killing my brother.
Tacitus
Anyway.
is his original character, right? He's lived through the entire thing.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
geez, son.
That's why he's the captain now.
And I want to make a note. I probably would have survived if we left the first time when I suggested that.
Maybe if you could run.
Captain Viator. Exactly. Yeah, so let's see. Did you make that navigation check? You did. Yeah, so you are probably, I'd say you're about half an hour on your side from the armory. Do you want to check for Alistair, how far he is?
Yes.
I'm going to say you can do that on the same roll. It's probably about 45 minutes. It's about 15 minutes extra.
Alistair, I think we should meet up on the armory section. In the armory room.
That sounds like a plan, Captain. I will meet you there.
10-4, over and out. Copy.
Yeah, so 45 minutes later, you guys show up. Now, I want to make sure that you know that you lost a vac suit. That's gone. As well as anything that Judith was carrying. You are down 1 piece of Semtex, or 1 Semtex charge,
I will
I guess.
mark that in my inventory.
And then 45 minutes later, you guys both show up at the armory. Now, you have 45 minutes of air left on your vac suit, Tacitus. The dog is looking a little green and very sad. And you're in the armory, and when you get into the armory, there are racks and racks of different materials, most of the racks are not weapons. They're like arm straps and I'm sorry, I have like my nose is really stuffy for some reason. Talking too much, I guess. They're like arm straps and extra clips, and I don't know if I'm using the right term there. I don't know guns. Maga clips. They're maga clips. They're all over the place, and all sorts of different. Like there's plenty of ammo around, but there's not a lot of actual guns. There is a cage in the back, like a metal sort of chain link thing. It's very thick cage, but it's a open to the air in the back that seems to have more stuff in it. And then there's a desk with a computer at the front. The whole room is maybe 30 by 30 meters, so it's big but not huge.
Are there any plasma weapons here, or is it just what you said?
None in the main area, and you can't really tell what's in the cage without going back there. You're like
I'm-
90 feet away. So,
I'm gonna go back to the cage then.
all right. So you're going back to the cage, and while you're heading back there, probably uh, Price walks in, and you get back to the cage, and you see inside that there are some pretty nice kit. I don't know that you can tell exactly what it is, but there's obviously guns in there. The cage is sort of like it's a 10-meter cage, 10-meter square cage. And so you can't see and make out exactly what's back there, but there's definitely something cool.
I keep going back in there then.
The door is
coolness.
the door is locked. So I'm sorry, I didn't say that. The door is locked. It has like a key code access, and there's a little like iPad looking thing on the door.
What sort of cage is this? Like a chain link fence? How sturdy does this cage look?
It looks pretty sturdy. Like you're not gonna be able to break it with you're not gonna just be able to pull it apart or anything. If you had like a plasma cutter or whatever, you could probably do it. Those are some okay rolls, buddy.
Meh.
Are you doing a warrior?
Yes.
I'm back there with him.
You just walked into the armory, so you're sort of in the back. The dog is probably still at the front, like just wagging its tail and trying not to, and well, not like wagging its tail. I think it's probably still and sad, like it knows what happened because Judy's not here. And
Pet the dog, play with it for a little bit, and then head back to the cage.
okay, so when you get back there, Tacitus is fiddling with the controls, trying to get in.
I call Clippy over the comms.
Again, there's another like long silence, and then you hear the lady's voice. Can I help you?
Yeah, can you unlock this cage?
What cage?
The weapons cage.
Where are you?
We're in the armory.
Why are you in the armory?
There's a giant goddamn SJW beast out there trying to kill us. We need weapons.
It's a scary thing, goddammit, it has a name. It actually doesn't have a name, but that's okay. Anyway, I think I had this whole thing planned, and then I just failed because you called it an SJW beast. I think that there's another silence, and
We kind of blew up your bridge trying to kill it, and it didn't kill it, and we need something bigger than what we have.
she goes, "So you're the one that was trying to kill me?"
Wait, what? You can be killed?
I am the ship. If you kill the ship, you kill me.
We're not trying to kill the ship. We just want to kill the beast.
Why do you want to kill the beast?
Because it's trying to kill us. It's the order of survival. We don't want to die either.
I don't want to die. Why do you try to kill me?
I don't want to kill you. If you help us kill the beast, then we can save the ship and you can live forever.
It looks like you're trying to open that cage. Would you like help with that? And the
Oh,
comms
thank
cut
God.
off.
Yes.
No, the comms cut off as soon as it says that. And so you're not going to get any help from Clippy.
Would I have tape on me? Is tape a thing, or would I just have tape, like duct tape?
What did you bring with you?
I don't have duct tape in my gear, but I don't know if that's
what
like
did you
a
bring
thing.
with you?
Backpack, binoculars, ammo, bioscanner, grapnel launcher,
Did
Lazarus
you bring a
patch.
toolkit?
I did bring a toolkit. Yeah.
You have tape in the toolkit.
Does that count as using the toolkit?
Yes.
I don't really want to use the toolkit for tape. It's kind of disappointing.
Well, I mean, you get to keep the tape afterward.
It's pretty sweet
True.
tape.
No,
It's
we'll
like
save that.
space tape.
Here's what
I
I'm thinking,
haven't
Price.
sent that charge.
I have grenades, slightly lower yield. Maybe enough to blow the door.
Let's I want to run through the main room and look for anything to prop the grenades by the door lock.
Sure. You want to prop the grenades by the door lock. Well, it's chain link, and yeah, can you make a perception wisdom? So you look across the room, and again, all you really find are like gun straps and like the
Well, gun straps would work. We could
Yes, they
break
would.
that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea that you had and had needed no prompting to come up with at all. Yeah, so you guys can rig up a grenade to the door with the gun strap and pull the pin and run away. I assume you do so, so please mark off a grenade. Can you roll the grenade damage, whatever that may be?
I have no idea. Let me look.
That is not a bad idea, Mike, but there were gun straps. 2d6, thank you. Clearly, you know a lot more about this system than I do. God. You just know all this shit, man. Yeah, so that... I'm going to say that probably blows up the door. 4 damage is enough. I mean, I have the book here, too. I just can't be arsed to look at it. Like, I just... Anyway, yeah, so the door blows open, and minimal damage inside. You know, a couple of things got scuffed, a couple of things fell over. One thing is very clearly broken. You can't really tell what it is without some intense study. But yeah, you can get into the back now. So what you see is there are 3 guns, and they're all in their own little cases, and they all have like their own little pelican cases underneath them, and there are you have to like look at them, and there's like packaging and little books with them that explain what they are and how they work. So you'd have to spend some time looking at them to like figure out what they are and whether you want to take it. There's one, let me think about this for a second. So there's one that's like, it's a long sort of rifle shape, but on one end, there's an abnormally large power cell. And on the barrel end, there's actually 2 barrels that are side by side. And that's one of them. Hang on one second, I need to pull up a page. On the one next to it is it looks like more like a shotgun. So it's sort of, but it's a longer shotgun, and it has like a foregrip on it. And I'm sorry, my throat is just killing me. Hang on one second. Yeah, so I'm sorry. One of them is sort of like a long rifle-looking thing. It has an abnormally large power pack and 2 barrels on the far end rather than just one. The second one looks like a shotgun. It's got a fairly wide barrel, bigger than a normal shotgun, but not much. It's very, very well designed. It's very sleek in its design. It's not a lot of like chunky parts on it. And the third one that you see is it looks like an assault rifle, and underneath it there's this big blade, and the blade is dull, and it's actually not even dull, it's like squared off. So and then it sort of attaches, and it looks like the blade part actually comes off as well, and it has no noticeable magazine to insert into it, and yeah, sort of all black, again very sleek.
Okay, Price, since you were quick thinking, I'll give you first dibs.
I gotta take the shotgun.
Okay. So you're gonna kind of like learn about the shotgun. You'll learn about what it is, and then you'll determine whether you want to keep it. I imagine you will. And then Tacitus, which one do you want to look at of the remaining two?
Can you describe the two-barrel thing again?
Yeah, so it looks almost like it's much longer than an assault rifle, so it's like not sniper rifle length, but like it looks sort of maybe like a designated marksman rifle type thing. And it has a big power cell on it, bigger than normal. And it has two barrels on the end instead of just one.
Yeah, I'll take that. The
Okay.
two-barrel thing.
Okay, yeah, so you grab this stuff, and as you're looking at it, you're learning about it, and you see, Tacitus, you see that it says Polygaia Defense, and it's like a brand on the power pack. And you recognize that this is, obviously a weapon of some quality. It's actually a mandate weapon, so it's old tech. And then price, you see that it says Samael Tech, and the T in tech there is actually like a crucifix. It's like a cross. And it has this like long slash underline underneath the Samael Tech, which is in red. And actually, when you look at it from a distance, it looks like it's just black. But when you look at it closer, it actually glows like a bright red, blood red kind of color. And then that's what you find out about. Now you pack this stuff up in its cases and start to head out to like put it outside so you can go back in for more, and you hear a now familiar sound of the big scary thing, and it sounds like it's pretty close by, maybe a few hundred meters away. You haven't had time to learn how to use these weapons yet, but you do have them on your person, so you can add them to your inventory, and later on I'll tell you what their stats are so you can actually use them
If we survive.
if you survive, and if you keep them, because they're heavy, and they impart penalties to athletics checks. So let's move on. You hear this big, loud, scary thing outside of the door. There's only one door in and out of the armory. That's a safety measure. You haven't looked in the main part of the armory. There's a computer in the main part of the armory as well as the rest of the racks. You just, the straps were all pretty obvious. You just grabbed one, like you didn't have to look for it. And the monster is probably 200 meters away. What would you guys like to do?
Can we tell if the monster's noticed us or knows where we're at?
No. You'd
Is
have
there
to
a
be the monster.
door that seals in the back of the little area we're in, or is it just like a little alcove?
It's just like a little alcove. It's actually like a cage that's built into the room, so it's actually like exposed. It's actually kind of like, it's not even against a wall. It's just in the middle of the room, and it's a cage.
I'm gonna go over to the computer.
Okay. Yeah, when you get there, it asks you to log in. If you want to
Well-
try to do it, you can do it. Basically, the process for logging into it is luck check to see if you get it on the first try, and then hacking. So,
While he's doing that, I want to go grab the dog and put it in the back corner of the room and try to like keep it quiet.
yeah, it sort of understands the gravity of the situation, and just it doesn't go in the back room and stay there, but it stays next to you, and it's whimpering quietly, but it's not making a ton of noise.
So I am going to attempt to hack it then.
Okay. Go
So
for
what's
it.
the process?
So if the first thing you try is like admin, right? So make a luck check to see if that even works. It does not. So now you do a computer's intelligence test to see if you can hack it. Yeah, you're able to get in. You try for a bit, and you look under the desk and find there's a post-it there, and it has the right credentials to get in. And it pops up with inventory, check in, check out, like as an option. So you can like check in a thing, check out a thing, and just system logs. So like there's a system log directory on everything that details when it's been turned on and shut off and so on.
I'm gonna click into inventory.
Okay. Yeah, and it shows the list of all the things they would carry, and it shows that there are still a couple laser rifles in stock. There's a few grenades. There's something called T4. There's only one item it's T4, and it says it's in that cage. It actually puts there's a big thing that says cage next to it. And then there's the three things that you saw back there: the Samael Tech, the Polygaia, and it actually just says Samael, Polygaia, and Stardust.
I'm gonna go back to the cage and see if the T4 thing they mentioned is there.
Okay. Yeah, so you head back there, and you can hear that the sound outside is getting a lot closer. Can you make a perception wisdom check? And while you do that, Price, what are you doing?
Just chilling with the dog, watching the door.
Okay, I think you hear that the sound outside is slowing down, like because it's clearly like rhythmic, like walking, sort of kunk kunk kunk, and it's slowing down as it gets closer. Tassus, you find a small pelican case, like a hard plastic box, and it's labeled on the outside. It just says T4. It's pretty small. It's maybe only like 9 inches by 9 inches by 9 inches, and there's a lock on it, just like a plain master lock kind of thing. It's actually odd to see such a lock.
I am gonna try to use my toolkit to pick the lock.
All right, so you produce a lock picking set from your toolkit. Please mark off the charge. And can you make a tech post-tech roll
Question.
against your dexterity? Yes.
A toolkit has charges?
It should.
How many charges?
I think we said 3.
I think it was 3.
Okay.
You can buy these too, you can recharge them, right?
I think I bought this, that's why.
I'm borrowing this rule from Powered by the Apocalypse, well, Dungeon World specifically. I don't know if all Powered by the Apocalypse games use this idea.
And so that's tech, post-tech.
Yes, against your dexterity because you're picking a lock. Oh, that's actually a good point. It should be security. It totally should. You still rolled Snake Eyes, so you can't get the lock open.
Can this
can
be my
reroll it?
reroll? Yeah.
Yeah, you're an expert, right?
I am indeed an expert.
Yes, you should roll. I'll say you can roll because I had you roll post tech at first. You can roll post tech or security. In the future, it'll be security, but whichever is better for you.
Yeah, tech, post-tech was better for me, so I'm just gonna roll that again.
That's the last time that'll be the case. You got a 6. So I think you're about to click the lock open, and here's the proposition. This is another thing I'm stealing from Dungeon World. You have an option. You can either not get it open, but also not attract the attention of the big scary thing, or you can get it open, but it's going to make some noise.
I'm not gonna open it.
Okay. Yeah, so you're about to click it over, and you hear something, and it startles you, and you sort of pull out, and it snaps back into being locked. You actually break one of the lock picking things. It's not going to ruin the lock pick set. You'll just have to go tape it back together later. So you grab the small pelican case which is labeled T4, and head back up to the front. You're pretty much full up on cases you can carry. You probably toss the T4 in your backpack, and you're carrying the other case, which is about all you can carry as a single person. It's too bad you didn't have a third, huh?
Hey, does the dog
Is
have
it-
carry space?
As I say, Is it so heavy he can't drag it?
I mean, you could try to drag it, but you're gonna have a hard time. It's gonna make a lot of noise.
Oh, that's a good point. It's not worth dying for.
We could rope it to the dog.
The dog is probably not going to be capable. It's going to be as if you were carrying it in addition to something else. It's going to make as much noise.
Okay.
The dog could probably carry the weight, but it's too cumbersome for it.
Price, you were saying something about machine guns that you saw on your way here?
Yeah, there's definitely a room that you open it and there's going to be 2 mounted machine guns on the ceiling that we will have to duck behind boxes, all sneaky like, or the machine guns are going to tear us apart.
Here's what I'm thinking. We go to that room, we throw a noisemaker in there, monster rushes in, perforation. Hopefully.
You still got grenades, right?
I do have 2 grenades. I have 2 or 1. I have 1 grenade.
That should be
Aren't there
enough.
grenades in this room?
I don't know.
There was in the inventory.
I go back to the computer to check where the grenades are.
It's not telling you where it is. It's just telling you that it's there. It doesn't have like a rack number or anything on it. Or if it did, it's not accurate. Like you check to see if something that it said was in one place was, and it's not.
I don't know, Price. Do you see any grenades?
Can I roll perception to see if I see any grenades?
You can indeed, sir. And if you both want to search, then one of you can help the other.
I am going to help Price search.
Okay, so
So I think that means
How does
I
that
roll
work?
first.
You roll. So Tacitus rolls first, and it's going to be a normal search roll. And if you succeed, then Price will get a +1.
Is this on wisdom?
Yep. Yeah. So you did great. And yeah, you find. Can you roll 1d3? You find 2 grenades.
sweet. I had tossed one at Tacitus.
Double sweet. I'm going to update my goals. And my new goal is kill this beast.
Okay. I will let you do that. Technically, you need to do that at the beginning of the mission, but I don't really mind that much.
I mean, I didn't know there was a beast when the mission began.
That's okay.
Okay, what do you think of this plan, Price?
I like it. We just got to be really careful going through that room because that machine gun is serious business.
How many minutes are we away from that room?
Make a navigation check. Wisdom. You are 13 minutes, 37.487 seconds.
Okay, I'm still in business then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what are we going to call this plan?
Operation Swiss Cheese.
Nice.
All right, let's put this plan into motion. And I jive walk to the door.
So, do you open the door?
No, I listen to see if I can hear anything. I was going to open the door, but then I was like, no.
You know it's a good time to stop and think about what you're gonna do when your DM says, "Do you do this thing that you're about to do?" That's how you know you should reconsider your actions. Yeah. So on the other side, at first you don't hear anything. Can you please make a perception check against your wisdom? And then you continue not to hear anything.
Can I use the computers to see if there's any security cameras we can look out in the hallway?
You'd have to try to hack them at a more fundamental level than Tacitus did.
I'm gonna try it.
You're basically trying to hack into another system with more privileges, like a security system from your
Computer intelligence.
Yep. Yeah, you're only able to really get into the armory, like inventory management system. Everything else is blocking you out.
I'm going to pop open my bioscanner and do a scan of the local area.
It says 3 life forms.
All right, the bioscanner's reporting 3 life forms. Oh, wait. Do I know if the bioscanner's reporting the dog's life form?
Yes, you probably do know that.
Is the answer yes or no?
The answer is yes, you probably know that and can deduce that from information you already have.
I think it's safe. Let's just go.
Okay. I think... Do these doors have like a slow open mode? Or are they just like...
You could probably like rig one to open more slowly. Like it's got a little pad next to it that you can screw around with and maybe open it more slowly, like crack it open a little bit. You could also just try to open it manually, like
I was gonna say, can we turn it on manual and just crack the door?
yeah, you could probably do that. It's gonna make a little bit of noise, but
Yeah, let's try to open it manually.
okay. So yeah, you grab some bar or something, just a thing you can use to pry it, and you wedge it in. That's what makes a noise, sort of a slight screeching sound. It's relatively quiet. You're careful. You try to make it as quiet as possible. You get the door in there and you start to pry it open, and the camera. Hang on one second. Ooh, shit. What time is it? I need to see something here. Okay. So the camera is first. It's you guys are both pulling on this bar. One's on the left side. One's on the right side. The dog is looking up at the door expectantly, and we see this bar start to slowly wedge the door open. You see the red light from the other side crack through, and as it opens, the door keeps cracking, and the camera tightens in on the wedge point of the bar, and the red light on the other side, and then it slowly starts to darken, and the door keeps opening, and it's about 3 inches wide, and the camera cuts to black, and you see Big Damn Heroes to be continued.
Damn.
Tune in next week.
Tune in, not next week.
Same damn time, same damn channel.
Same damn time, same damn channel. I think that. So Butch made a suggestion, which I think is a good suggestion, especially given how we just ended, that this be the season finale of Big Damn Heroes for the year. And so we would not do one for the rest of the year. We'd start up again the first week of January. Alternately, we can do one the week between Christmas and New Year's. So we do one on... Actually, no, I think we skip the next 2 weeks anyway, because they're both holiday weeks, right?
Yeah, because you got Christmas Eve is the 24th, and then Christmas is that weekend,
Right.
And then I've got shit going on Thursday because it's New Year's Eve.
Right. So I think this is the season finale, and in not next week, so in 3 weeks, we come back for Big Damn Heroes season 2.
Season 3. We already
Season
had a
3.
season
That's right.
ender.
That's right. Because that was episode. I think it was even episode 6. So it
Season
works out
ender
pretty
for
good.
season 1 was when Patrick and
Yes, that was
the
like
other one
third
died.
episode though. That was like the pilot season, where it's like shorter than all the other ones. And this is so I guess like a regular season is about 9 episodes, and that makes sense. I feel like it's a good length. So good game. You actually are going to get some extra XP because it's the season finale.
Do I get
so-
extra XP for my new
so
character? Because I
you-
died.
You do get some extra XP. You can have 80% carryover.
I actually now have to redo that math.
I have a question.
Exactly, Mike. It was a mid-season replacement.
When I told Judith not to leave, was that executing to my belief if I cannot die? Did that activate? I mean, because it sort of got me in trouble because now Judith's not around. But I guess it didn't really have a direct result. Sort of indirect.
I'll tell you what. I marked that as a 3 on the scale. I'm going to say you get about half that, so you can take like 50 XP for it. Because your belief got someone else in trouble, which is... Yeah, I like that. I feel like you should get XP for it, but it's not as good as getting yourself in trouble. Okay. let me open up the other sheet. So you're also going to get some season ender experience, and your new guy will get this, Tim.
What?
Your new guy is going to get the season ender XP, and you're all going to get 500 XP for ending out a season. So good job.
I would have gotten a level if I didn't die. Dang it.
Did we figure out what killed the psychics? Because that was one of my goals, and it was either the disease or the big damn scary thing.
I don't know if we figured it out yet.
I don't think you figured it out yet, but you
Got good
probably have
theories,
some
though.
inklings. Because shit went down on the Basilisk, man. I mean, clearly there's this big fucking dude. Which I imagine, given your... Oh, actually, I don't... Oh, no. Oh, no. Tacitus, did you ever sell the Brailment corpus? Were you part of that? I think you might have missed that.
Say that again?
So back in like season 1, like the second episode, we had a Jurassic Park situation where Patrick and Lorne.
Oh, he was gone that week, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all. I was crafting a figurine.
Yes. Patrick and Lorne, who were series originals, went into a museum that was infested by the Brailment, which are that alien race that's kind of like the Zerg. And we haven't seen them in a while, but their corpses were very valuable to the right buyers. And I'm just going to leave that as a note that you can think about. So yeah, I'm going to say your belief, I cannot die, triggered for half value, so it's 50 XP for you. That's it for the things I see there, and then I think that nothing on Alistair's triggered either. Now, I told you that I was rethinking instincts, and I think what instincts are going to be is it's a belief that you can't go against. Like, it's an instinctual thing, you just do it, and then if that gets you in trouble. So for instance, if you have a belief that you can't die, that's conscious and you can prevent it. If you have an instinct that you can't die, then you believe in any situation you cannot die. And I'm going to tell you when you fail to follow that instinct, then you don't get it anymore. You remove it, and in fact, you can't take it again. So, until some significant character change that would allow you to. I think that's how we're going to change beliefs, and it's going to give you somewhere in between a goal and a belief's worth of experience. Sound good?
Yep. On that also similar note, I've finished up that tune I just made.
All right, I'm going to need to talk to you about how we're going to get him in early in the next session. I have an idea. Thank you for giving him a picture.
I try.
It'd be cool if we found a crew member still alive. Just saying.
You wouldn't have to look for another crew member if we were... I never died in the first place. We left
No,
when I
he's saying that's how
suggested
you
it.
could introduce it.
So, you have Ballesteros as your homeworld. Do you mean Canseco Ballesteros?
Yeah, I couldn't think of it off the top of my head. Did I misspell it?
Yeah, you did. That's okay. I fixed it.
Grazie.
Cool. And then you really still you've never gotten past level 1, have you?
No, I would have if I didn't die tonight. I swear to you, I would have gotten it. I was like 120 XP away.
Yeah. So okay, this is a good point for your guy. Your instinct that always triggers, which means in a situation that would call for it, you have to do that.
I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm expecting this one not to last too long.
Do we get to know other people's instincts and beliefs, or is that just something we learn?
Eventually, I just start saying them because I always slip up. But I try to keep them. I try to not come out and say it, at least not immediately, until everybody kind of has figured it out. So your belief that you cannot die, I feel like everybody's kind of figured that out at this point. Same thing with your belief that telling the truth is always the correct course of action. I feel like people know that about you. But certainly at first I was trying to avoid bringing that up. And so for Mike, for your benefit, the way we do XP is similar to how they do it on Mirror Shades, if you watch that. It uses the torchbearer approach of belief, instincts, and goals. Now I've changed it a bit. I just changed it a moment ago, but it's basically the same idea. You can have a belief, which is something you can choose to do or not. You have an instinct, which if it gets you in trouble, you get XP. Then you have goals, which if you complete, you get XP. And they give you more experience from belief, instinct, goal. Belief gives you the least, instinct gives you the most, and they each have ratings. So the harder the belief, a belief like I cannot die. If you let that get you into trouble, you take on an extremely dangerous situation under that belief. You're going to get more experience than a belief that I like donuts and I will always eat donuts. That'll get you some experience if you get really fat and can't make athletics checks. But
Space brownies.
exactly. So one of the first characters had a belief that he made the best space brownies, and I believe
Until he
there was a
lost the
bake-off.
contest.
There was a
Then there was a
baking contest.
bake-off, and he lost, and that was
soul
fun.
crushing.
Yes.
All right, so good session, everybody. Thanks, Mike, for tagging along. You can let me know at your leisure if you'd like to keep coming back, and I can help you roll up a character. And
Please tell your friends about this show.
and we'll see you all next time on season 3 of Big Damn Heroes.
See you guys later.
All right,
See ya.
if you want to
Good
stick around,
sesh.
Mike, I can.